Heyo. All right, let's do this. Let's do this, everybody. Heyo. All right. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Good morning, everybody. Let's get settled here. Is there anybody out there? Talk to me, Goose. Goose, talk to me. Who's here? Solver Mist is here. We could start the show. Solver Mist is here. It's really all that matters. No offense, everybody else. Yeah, Heidi, I know. I know, Heidi. Heidi's all day, Heidi. I see her on all these different channels. Typing away. Heidi, do you chat on your phone all day? Are you at a computer? What's your deal? I picture you, Heidi, like a court stenographer. Do you just sit there in your living room with one of those old-timey stenographer machines? She says, no, an old phone. Gotcha. Anyway, much love. Much love to you, Marika. Much love to you. I'm going to try to reel it in a little bit, when it comes to my comments towards all the ladies out there. I'm trying to clean that up a little bit. I'm trying to tighten the show up. I don't know how many people want to hear me basically want to hear me simp for all these ladies of the truthiverse. Who else is here? YOLO Swaggins, Mimi. Good to see you, Mimi. Tristan Laverack, Dave Oliver. Greetings, everybody. Greetings, greetings. Jeff Hyatt. What's up, Jeff? All right, Heidi. Go get your coffee. It's fine. We'll be here when you get back. We'll be here. Because, as we know, this is truly the show that never ends. So we'll be here. I don't think everybody will be here. I don't see Rob Cleveland here. We found out yesterday that Rob Cleveland, ironically, is not a fan of my show. Even though he's been here probably more than almost anybody. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, guys. What do you think, Alex Tilburg? Solvermist? What do you guys make of the revelation that Rob Cleveland doesn't like the show? I don't know. Maybe he'll come up and he'll let us know. I found that out yesterday. It's weird. It's weird, Rob. I don't know. It's okay, Rob. Don't worry about it. No hard feelings. No hard feelings. I mean, Rob Cleveland, your appearance on this show, your presence on the show, pretty much was the gateway to you being crowned the sexiest man on these YouTube streets. Oh, here he is. Here he is. He says, LOL, it's not that I don't like it. You're just real low energy. It's okay, Rob. It's all right. I won't get in my feelers, you know. It's all right, Rob. We won't make it all about you and me. It doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be like it. We'll just keep going. Sovereign says he likes belligerent Z. Well, I've heard that from others. Heidi says, yesterday was the first time I stopped by Austin's. Austin who? Austin Murphy? Austin Whitsitt? Austin Thompson? There's a lot of Austins around here. There's a lot of Austins. Your fellow's name's Austin. Yeah, okay, she said Yurt fellow. See, Yurt, I gave you that nice promo a couple days in a row, and Heidi found her way to your channel. I don't know, Austin Powers. That's funny, YOLO. I don't know why that's funny. It just was. You got to watch out, Yurt, because Heidi's at your channel now. And once Heidi latches on, she really never lets go. Much like a parasite. I mean, I'm not calling you a parasite, Heidi, as such. But I don't know. I wonder how your ex-boyfriends would think about that characterization. That you kind of like latch on, really never let go. Remember that ex-boyfriend you told us about, Heidi? What was his name? Matt? For any of the new listeners, Heidi here, Divine Spirit 313, she's been classified by myself and others here as the proverbial alpha widow, because apparently Heidi's still in contact with her ex-boyfriend from like 13 years ago, who's like moved on. He's married, he has 2 kids. Stage 5 clinger, Heidi. Let go. Anyway, so watch out, Yurt, because Heidi found your channel now. Once she latches on, she never lets go. It's all right. It's all right, Heidi. Calm down. It's fine. Right, his name's Matt. Heidi, you still... Heidi... Heidi, are you still sending Christmas presents to your ex-boyfriend's family? God, I can only imagine that wife of his. She probably she probably has a voodoo doll of you. She just wakes up every morning and just does horrible things to it. Come on, Heidi. You can't be so connected with an ex-boyfriend. You just have to let it go. Yeah, Heidi, get a grip. Get a grip. What'd she say? He just checked in me recently. What? What the fuck's that mean? What did he do in you recently, Heidi? Is this a revelation? Anyway. Let's get this show started officially. We don't want to bore Rob to sleep here. Rob, you gotta understand. My first hour is this is the first hour of my show. I don't know. Maybe is it possible that Rob just loves being on camera? He hates that I don't drop the link right away because he knows when he's on camera, that's like his time to shine. Because he has that glowing whole effervescent like presentation when he's on camera. Plus he's single now, apparently, and ready to mingle. So Rob wants the camera time because he knows every minute that he's on camera it ups his chances at bagging another one of these beautiful ladies of the truthiverse. Heidi, Rob, who's your number one? He says, I do like to look at myself. You got a point there. I knew it, Rob. Rob, who's your number one lady of the truthiverse? If you can get your hands on any of these ladies. I got my money on Marika, even though she's probably not quite as full-figured as most of these women you go for. But for some reason, I think Rob's got his eye on Marika. I think she'd be his number one. But who knows? I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Right, Gary Baxter. Rob does have a great smile. I have to agree with you on that one. I have to. No doubt about it. Yeah, I don't know, Rob. Maybe you could let us know. Rob, okay, so Rob says either Mimi or Lori Chavez. Well, out of those two, I would prefer you go for Mimi, only because Lori Chavez literally hates my guts. Lori's last comment to me was, Z, you're garbage. Pretty much sums it up. Yeah. Much love, Lori Chavez. Although the first time Heidi and I met, she pretty much had the same sentiment towards me after I told her to go fuck herself. Now she's my bottom bitch. Right, Heidi? See, she's laughing. She knows. So it's weird how things happen. Here's Marika. She's laughing. Sorry, Marika. You're not on Rob's list. You're still on my list, Marika. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, but Rob says Lori Chavez or Mimi. But I don't know, Rob. Unfortunately, I think Mimi's taken. Mimi seems like she's in one of those nice, comfy, and totally legitimate monogamous relationships. But we know how well that worked out for the lovely Christy Lee dolls. So anyway, you might have a shot. Gary Baxter said, Lori, Z is a wealth of knowledge. Well, she'll never know that, Gary, because she's never going to be here. According to Lori, I'm garbage. Fair enough. Fair enough. Love me or love to hate me, right? That's how it goes. All right, let's get the show started officially. All right, camera's on, show started. I'm going to do my official opening, Rob. Right, we're going to get the energy for you. Rob wants the Z Morning Zoo. If it was up to Rob, it would just be totally crazy all the time. So let's give Rob the energy that he's looking for. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Z Show. It is truly the show that never ends. Grand rising, grand approach for all you guys and dolls out there, all around and all across this big old flat realm that we call Earth. Like I said, we broadcast all around the realm. All around the realm. Not just to the 7 known continents, but to the other one that's probably somewhere out in the Pacific Ocean, where David Bowie lives. We broadcast even beyond the ice wall. All the way out to the Iron Republic, the land of Mu, and the land of the Anunnaki. Because we know they don't live light years out in impossible space. They're probably just right over there. Dave Weiss knows. He told us. What's that island, Dave, you can't stop talking about in the Pacific? Karabati. Shout out to Dave Weiss. Shout out to Dave Weiss. 10% of the audience just got that joke. Maybe 15. Dean Kendall in the house. Good to see you, Dean. Much love, much love. Green Man in the house. Green Man, I saw you emailed me some. Green Man's one of the few people who managed to get a hold of my email, which tells me Green Man's a true fan because he probably dug through a bunch of my old videos where I was putting my info out there. And Green Man sent me some kind of bootleg, not safe for the YouTube streets video. NTFG, my favorite troll, back at us. He says, are you going to tell people to off themselves today? NTFG, as the great Jack Talcott would say, it's time to get out of your imagination and into the now. NTFG. You're one of these people, you're just looping. You're just looping on something. Relax, NTFG. You might learn something here. If not, you might maybe learn something at least about yourself. Who knows? I don't know. But some of your non-troll comments are half decent. What the hell Sovereign is saying? He says, which talk show hosts of the 90s do we like? Donahue, Springer. They're all trash. All of them. I like Maury. How's that? We're going to go with Maury. Gary Baxter says Jenny Jones. Talk about like MK Ultra fucking programming. All that, those 90s talk shows, Ricky Lake, Maury, Donahue, Sally Jesse Raphael, fuck even Oprah. Springer. It's just MK Ultra to me. Benton likes Montel. Yeah, Benton always comes correct, man. Montel's a good choice. I like Montel. Yeah, Mimi likes Maury. Mimi likes Maury. Mimi, how many times could you have used the services of Maury Povich? Because I'd imagine Mimi probably has multiple baby daddies. I can't imagine Mimi has just one baby daddy. She looks like a multiple baby daddy kind of gal. I don't know. Maybe I'm just making it up, Mimi. I'd imagine you've availed yourself of, the services of more than one paternity test organizations. You probably could have used Maury a couple times, Mimi. I don't know. Am I projecting? She's just laughing. Oh, okay. Sorry, Mimi. Only one baby daddy. I didn't mean the stereotype there. Who knows? Sorry, Mimi. Sorry. I still love you. Marika said she's actually been a part of the Jerry Springer audience. That's funny. See if you could find that, Marika. See if you could pull up the old archival footage. See if you could. I'd like to see that. Pretty much, I'd like to see any pictures of Marika. Sophomus just says, "Wow." Yeah, Mimi. I hope there's no hard feelings there. Yeah, even more than like 90s talk show hosts. How about all those 80s sitcoms? The 1980s, I think, were the heyday of the sitcom world. Every time I do that, it messes with my camera. I have a certain lighting thing that I'm going for. Can't seem to get it right. Yeah, the world of the 1980s sitcoms. There's just like a galaxy of sitcoms in the 80s. Can I say galaxy? Can a flat earther use the term galaxy? See, when one's a flat earther, like we know, I'm I basically categorize myself as a flat earther for what it's worth. And when you become a flat earther, there's certain words that you have to lose from your vocabulary because people will call you on it, right? So if I say flat earther and I use the word galaxy, see, I'm walking on thin ice there. Because is there really any galaxies, or is that just, like there's the heavens, there's the cosmos, but the idea of galaxies, that's not a real thing, right? Yeah, Sovereignist knows what I'm talking about. He exactly knows. The other word you have to lose when you're a flat earther is gravity. Like I can't say the gravity of the situation. That word has to go, which is weird. Makes it hard to talk. And the other word is a southern hemisphere. I guess that's two words. It's a term. I guess if you hyphenate it, you might consider it a word, but you can't say southern hemisphere when you're a flat earther. Marika's laughing. Right, Marika? No. So it becomes difficult to speak to people. So every time, like you'll see on the show, every time I say southern hemisphere, I put air quotes up. And I say it weird. I say southern hemisphere, I put a weird like disgusted accent to my voice. Yeah, Dean's laughing. He knows what's up. Right, Stephen Crumley said you can't say global anymore. Global economy. It's going global. You got to lose that when you're a flat earther. It slips out sometimes. The other thing you can't do is you can't call Earth a planet. You can't say planet Earth. Because, when you're a flat earther, Earth's not a planet. The planets are the planets. To think Earth is just amongst those planets is just something somebody taught you. There's no evidence for it. It's not logical. Okay, I look up, I see these lights that are moving around, so-called wandering stars, these planets. But to assume that Earth is a planet, so you got to lose that. You can't say planet Earth. Right? So, these are some of the challenges when it comes to being a flat earther. You have to change your vocabulary. So it's tough. And then the other side of that, you have to resist the urge of correcting people. So every time somebody says planet Earth, I cringe a little bit. Yeah, ruled by Saturn says planet, which would mean a small plane or I get that ruled by Saturn. People have tried to get around and say, well, it could be, it's not a planet, but it's a plane, and then et would be a small plane, which would imply there's other small planes out there. But either way, then again, it's tough resisting the urge to correct people. So when they say, oh, all around this planet, I'm like, oh, come on, guys. Earth isn't a planet. That's just crazy. That's how's Crow 777 say? It's poppycock. Should I incorporate the term poppycock into my vernacular? I don't think I will. Shout out to Crow 777. Yeah. What's the chat saying? Jay Kraft in the house. Heidi says I can't type. Because Heidi, you're still using a BlackBerry. You're on one of those old Nokias, apparently. At least it's an upgrade from that stenographer machine. Update your phone, Heidi. Update your phone. Dean Kendall says realm. Yeah, that's good, Dean. But it's weird. I'm walking around in everyday life, just talking to people on the street, and I use the term realm. It sounds weird. They think I'm one of these Dungeons and Dragons, LARPer guys. That's the thing. When you become a flat earther, all of a sudden, your language, your lexicon basically starts to resemble like a fucking Renaissance fair, which I didn't anticipate. So now all of a sudden, okay, I realized the globe is bullshit, but now my life has become like a Renaissance fair. Yeah, Green Man's laughing. I'm a Renaissance fair LARPer. I start referring to this place as a realm. You know? I didn't anticipate that, Dean. Green Man. I didn't know being a flat earther came with all these fucking, you know, like all this extra stuff. I didn't realize when I figured out that everything's level and horizontal that I had to walk around talking like I'm from fucking Middle Earth. It's weird. This is the part in the show where I just laugh at my own stupid jokes. Razvan says, Z, sarcastic. What's up, Razvan? Good to see you, Razvan. Much love. What else is going on this morning, everybody? What else is going on? What have we learned over the last couple days? Anything? What have we learned? Either way, we find ourselves here. Again, the show that never ends. He says, what are you saying, Razvan? It was in the small print, Z. You didn't read it. What are you talking about, Razvan? I'm supposed to decipher your fucking insane chat comments. He said, Z, the sarcastic in the house. Arcastic? What are you, like, encoding your fucking things, Razvan? I gotta figure out what the fuck you're trying to say. I can't figure out what you're saying, Razvan. Get a grip, dude. Get a grip. We're burning. People say, yeah, I live in South Jersey, and there's been it's haze for like days now. There's just like wildfire smoke in the air. Some people say it's coming from Canada. I think there's some wildfires around near me or whatever. Who knows? Who knows what's going on? I can't keep up with the news. I don't follow the news, really. I'll read the headlines just to see what's going on. And most of the headlines I read, they turn out to be like almost like gossip headlines. I don't know why I'm into that shit. It's weird. Yeah, wildfires, Marika. These fucking wildfires. I don't know. I mean, aren't wildfires supposed to be like a natural process, you know, like an ecological process? The fires are cleansing, guys. The fire comes along. It serves a purpose. It regenerates the ecology. Get it? Like there's certain pine cones that they only release their seeds when they're burnt and exposed to fire. So the pine cones will sit there for years and years. I don't know. I could be just making this up. I heard this somewhere. Don't take this as gospel. If you're an ecologist, don't contact me if I'm wrong. But apparently, you know, like out in Yellowstone, there's certain trees that can only propagate when they're exposed to a wildfire. Get it? The fire burns the pine cone. The seeds are released. You know, and then the tree could propagate. There's a purpose with these fires. They're natural. Who said we were just supposed to go build houses everywhere and invade all these lands? Give me a break. NTFG just says, you never really know much of anything, Z. Well, it's funny, NTFG, because nobody really knows what you know. Do you have a channel? Let me click on you and see if it brings me to a channel. Yeah, go to channel. Let me go to NTFG's channel right now. All right, NTFG, you have 17 subscribers. You have one video from 4 weeks ago that's 16 seconds long. So, that's your channel, NTFG. So as you sit here and say, I never really know much of anything, you have nothing. Zero. Satire and irony, it says. Your channel. Look, I'm giving you shine. Are you getting what you want, NTFG? Because somebody's going to probably go look at your channel, maybe even subscribe. You joined May 9th, 2023 with satire, irony, and critical analysis, but you have no videos. But you come here and you say, I don't know much of anything. I don't know, NTFG. Why don't you come out and talk to us? We could launch your YouTube career right here on the Z Show. Right, Z's too boring for me to talk on panel, but you're here every morning. Is that you, Rob Cleveland? Did you create a sock account, Rob? Because you realized it probably wouldn't really look great, Rob, if you at this point like openly bashed me. I mean, Rob, I know you'll go to your fellow's channel and you just do it in secret, but in an effort to avoid openly bashing me in my own channel, did you? He's laughing. Did you create the sock account in TFG? Yeah, exactly. What are we talking about here, guys? Give me a break. Give me a break. NTFG. What does it even stand for? Can you tell us? NTFG? Maybe you'll get another subscriber or two, NTFG, and then maybe you'll actually make a video. I'm not sure. Who knows? Rob. Let's see what Marika's saying. She's actually laying down some info this morning. She said they're hiding the signs of the times. Among other things, the sun and the moon are red worldwide. Here in Greece, Singapore, Australia, Philippines, and many more. It's not wildfires. You know, it's funny you say that, Marika, because yeah, these wildfires. There's a haze in the air, but when I looked up, the sun was completely red. So Marika's conjecturing that these wildfires are just some kind of like a ruse or like a cover up. Interesting. And TFG said, Z, is your ex-wife still riding your ex-boss? Nobody knows what you mean by that, NTFG. Like, it's insane to just even say that. You seem foreign to me, though. You don't seem American. Like your humor, your grammar, your cadence, like your comments, like you're trying to bust on me. But it seems like I'm reading your shit, but in like a foreign accent, almost like a Razvan accent. Green Man says Rob is the Ed McMahon of Z. Right, but I don't think Ed McMahon actively went around and denigrated Johnny Carson behind his back. I don't know. Maybe he did. Right, YOLO Swaggins. I picture NTFG with a Borat-like accent. Definitely. Yeah, Marika's on. Let's kind of cater to Marika because she's dropping some stuff. She says they've been using the wildfire excuse for a long time. Tell me how the Amazon rainforest can burn down from wildfires. It will be undeniable to all. Much love. Razvan says plasma fires. He's going all out on the plasma theory. Okay, Razvan. It works for me. All right, Rob, calm down. Rob, calm down. It's only the metaverse. That's all it is. Nothing more, nothing less. Settle in. Settle in. We do a 3-hour show every day. You got to let it burn. It's a slow burn. I'll jump out the window for you, Rob. I'm going to jump all the way out the window. Rob, I'm holding court for the metaverse here. More specifically, or more accurately, I view this whole metaversal experience, this truthiverse, so to speak, as a huge big tent circus. We've got all kinds of people here. We've got the flat earthers. We've got the Tartarian kind of people. You got rights and freedoms. It's a big tent. There's so many more things. You got the people that are still on the whole Hollywood pedo, secret society, mystery school thing, which I'm still kind of really interested in. You got the religious folks here. It's a huge truthiverse. So I have an eye on the truthiverse. I'm basically going for the truthiverse grift because I see the potential in it. Me and others. And I realized it, Rob, no matter how many times I've tried to escape this insane fucking community for what it's worth, I just can't leave it. I just keep getting pulled back in. Call it an addiction, call it whatever you want. Call it the only place where people actually, that actually resonate with. And more importantly, Rob, this is probably the only place at this point that I can get laid. Again, I'm going to be real honest here. I'm jumping totally out the window. I need to be here, Rob. There's nothing out there for me. When I'm in the real world, I'm just wandering around, like all these thoughts in my head. I'm not really able to connect with anybody. But for whatever reason, here in the metaverse, it's a different story. So I'm trying to embrace the whole thing. I'm just diving straight into the metaverse. Thus, you see my show. That's what it is, dude. It's really, it's a show about me, Rob. You have to understand. It's not like you're not going to, my show's not just me hosting a panel. That would be really boring for me. Maybe less boring for you, but because you can come up here, you can show off your dreadies. You can get the memes of the truthiverse world to drool over you. Because Rob knows, Mimi, it's only a matter of time before you're single. We saw it happen to Christy Lee dolls. So Mimi, dude, the clock's on for you, Mimi. We're all going to be watching, Mimi. When you change your icon, you update your picture, you show a little bit more cleavage. You can take a lesson from Christy Lee dolls. She's doing it right. So, we know, we got you. So anyway, Rob, I'm digressing, but the show's about me. It's all about me. Like, I'm just going to come on here and talk about myself and whatever comes from it. I know. Raz fan. Yeah. Marika says she feels me. Marika, I'll speak for many of the men of the Truthiverse when I say we'd all like to feel you. Trust me. Right. It's all about Z. It's about me here. Rob wants me to move on. Rob wants me to move on. Don't worry, Gypsy. I didn't forget about you. Mimi says it can't be as invasive as Talcott. Talcott is he's mentally invasive. His whole presence. Kendall just says, do you do mushroom trips? Right. Marika says, way to tone down the sexualization, Z. I know, I'm working on it. Like I said, Marika, it's a work in progress. It really is. I understand that. I get it. I get it. Like I said, it's a slow burn, everybody. Where's my channel? There it is. You guys are talking about O'Shea. O'Shea doesn't want me to talk about him, Gypsy. His quote was, Z and others. He wants me to keep his name out of my mouth. So we'll honor it. At least for now. We won't talk about O'Shea. There's other stuff to talk about. We love you, O'Shea, but I'm not going to talk about you. I just won't do it. We'll honor that request. Gypsy just says he's gross. That's not nice, Gypsy. It's not nice. Although I have to admit, Rob, I used to say that O'Shea was funny. O'Shea, I used to be one of your biggest supporters. And I still think you have potential in the comedy world, but I actually think now that you're, I think that Moose indeed may be funnier than O'Shea, which is a weird, strange turn of events for me because there was a time where Moose, I couldn't stand you. But more and more, I'm becoming a Moose fan. More Moose, less Brian. That's what I say. Three Fingers in the house. Three Fingers. What'd you think about Lucky Haskins coming on yesterday, Three Fingers? Let's try to get Lucky back. We'll get him on here. Lucky's he's radio gold. He's podcast platinum. Let's call him. Lucky's got the X factor. We need to get him back. Three Fingers, I'm trying to get in the room with these flat earthers, these bigger ones. Help me out, Three Fingers. Put the word in the street. Get me in the room with these guys. We need to get Z in the conversation. I need to liven up the flat earth community. Three Fingers. We'll give the haters something to work with. They could all say Z's going for the flat earth grift. So I told you guys, I'm already going for the truthiverse grift, and a big part of that's going to be the flat earth grift. I'm just going to give all you haters the fuel you need to, to burn the straw man that you're going to erect down. The Z straw man. So I'll just, I'll tell you how to do the hit on me. Shout out to Paulie Boy. So yeah, Three Fingers. How could I get myself more into that whole F flat earth thing? They need to hear Z. The community's become a little stale. It's become a little stagnant. I get it. Everybody likes when Dubé drops his new video, or you can head over and go watch Mark Sargent and Karen B. But we got to spice it up a little bit. We got to tear down the walls. We got to tear down the Arctic ice wall of the community. Green Man says Flat Earth is big time shadow banned. That's okay, Green Man. I don't think the algorithm's helping me out anyway. So, Three Finger says move to South Carolina. South Carolina appears to be the Flat Earth hub of at least the United States. Yeah, Heidi says she doesn't watch any of those people. But that's what we need to do, Heidi. We need to get some cross collaboration involved. We need to cross collaborate. Jay says morning, Z. Morning to you, Jay. Morning to you. Sky Rooster in the house. See, Heidi, I could dump the whole flat Earth thing if I wanted to go for like a more broad audience, but why would I do that? Like I'd feel like a sellout. Plus, I wouldn't know how to do that. I just know how to come on here and just do my thing, just do the Z thing, and then wherever it goes, it goes. So like I could try to take some type of, I don't know, like some strategic stance, or play some strategy where I lay off the flat Earth and just go for more of the generalized conspiracy, because it turns people away. I know it does. Like people like Yurt. Like Yurt seems like an intelligent guy. He's a philosophical guy, but I know he thinks I'm crazy. Well, I don't know what he thinks, but very likely he just thinks that I'm like goofy for this flat Earth thing, like it's stupid or something. Or so many people, like the whole Christian section of the truthiverse, which is weird because they follow supposedly every word and they take it as gospel of the Bible. The dogmatic doctrine believing Christian Bible believers, which clearly shows a pretty much a flat Earth cosmology, geocentric cosmology, all through the Bible. So they claim to be these dogmatic doctrine believing Christians, but they think the flat Earth is goofy. See what I mean? Or like a moose who comes here. He's on touch with a lot of things, but to him, the flat Earth is just like a weird, stupid thing that he thinks we're into. So I could like put the flat Earth thing aside and try to appeal to a more broad-based audience within the truthiverse. But I'm not going to do it. I'm just not. I'm going to ride the flat Earth thing because it's to me, it's just is what it is, guys. I'm not going to do that. I'm just not. Anyway, Horde in the house. What's up, Horde? Horde's giving his shout outs. Nice to see you, homie. Featherbear says, we're all a little crazy. You said it. Niall, in quotes, says, the dogmatic Bible-believing Christian Bible believers. He said, what the hell type of sentence was that? That's a sentence only I can come up with, Niall. They're not all home runs. They're not all home runs. Usually, Niall, when you see me spinning a sentence like that, I'm trying to avoid like offending somebody as I'm criticizing and critiquing them. So you'll see, that's what I do. I kind of spin my words like that. It's unconscious, really. He's laughing. Because I don't want to offend all you Christians out there. Hashtag trademark Christian. Registered trademark Christian. I don't want to offend you guys. I don't want to offend all you 501c or 501c3 Christians. So I'm trying to be nice to them, Niall. I'm trying to qualify my words. Jay says, when am I going to get one of those Z Nation shirts? I don't know, Jay. Get on that. Maybe you could produce them. Just make sure you toss me like 20% on all your sales, of course. But you make a good point, Jay. I need to start expanding the whole Z brand. Because not everybody's going to get it. Like Rob Cleveland, he doesn't get it, but he feels compelled to show up here every morning because he doesn't want to miss out. Rob has FOMO. Rob has Rob Cleveland, I'm talking. He has truthiverse FOMO. He wants to be in on all of it. So he feels compelled to be here. Even though, he's trying to wait. He's trying. See, Rob's at work, so he's trying to stay awake. So he wants to plug into Z, and he wants me to sort of give him a certain vibe to keep him awake. But I can't do it, Rob. Sorry. It's going to be what it is. Tune in or tune out. There's other content creators out there. All right, Rob. I don't want to pick on you this morning. We just got to get it out, Rob. We got to exercise these demons. We just do. Go ahead, Jay. Get on top of the Z branding. We got to start the Z branding. Somebody does. Right. Heidi's laughing. Heidi knows what's up. I don't see our friend Axis Ratblood here this morning. I got to say, guys, Axis Ratblood really does give Satanism like a, dare I say, he gives it a good name. He shows well for Satanists. He may be the ultimate Satanist, which is weird because he says he's a Mason. So, there's Axis Ratblood. He gives the thumbs up. Yeah, Axis. Watching you dialogue and debate with Illumitami, you know, Satanism versus Christianity. I think when we reviewed the tape, pretty much showed everybody that, that Christianity really wasn't looking so good yesterday. So, Axis Ratblood. It's weird, Axis. Who knew? Who knew? Yeah, Heidi, I think, is scared of that Rax's hate frequency. But here's my question, Axis Ratblood. All right, so if you could develop a hate frequency that you can use to broadcast, what's to stop all these other multimedia sources and just, all this multimedia in general from just embedding some type of, some kind of subconscious frequency that's just right below our perception? Maybe that's what this whole thing is. If you tune in, you're just getting blasted with a frequency. Right. They're probably doing it. Which is weird. I don't know. I mean, I can try to get into the science because I'm thinking about this rat blood frequency because I told you, rat blood, I have some experience in the, let's say, the field of acoustics. One might say I have advanced experience. And there's a certain bandwidth of audible sound. And I get what you're saying, the claim is that there's certain sounds that even though we might not be able to perceptually, I should say perceive the sound, that we're in some way being affected by it. So, okay, just because I can't hear a sound doesn't mean it's not affecting me in some way. I get that. But there seems to be a limited bandwidth through which our speakers can produce sound, right? So I think there might be some inherent limitations in the ability to transmit certain sounds. I don't know. Maybe they embed it in some kind of, I don't know. Who knows? I don't want to go off on that. I'm not sure. London McLovin in the house. Good to see you, London. Much love. Much love, much love. Yeah, Sovereign says hertz. Because the typical range of human hearing is from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. You can't hear below 20 hertz. You can't hear above 20,000 hertz. But that doesn't. There's other ways to embed things in sound. Like if you look at the concept of binaural beats, it uses a certain phenomenon in sound that it basically creates a sub beat by presenting alternating stimulation, so to speak, where the frequencies are slightly off in each ear, but it requires a stereo type of sound. You basically just present slightly off frequencies, and it creates a sub-frequency, which is basically a difference between the frequencies. In essence, you're presenting a sub-audible frequency, but you're doing it in a way where you're sort of tricking the mind into a subaudible frequency. Right, Axis says he says that he's using these different frequencies to affect DNA and stuff, whatever. Axis, I could argue that frequencies that are affecting DNA are less acoustic frequencies, which is basically mechanical energy. Acoustic energy is mechanical energy, guys. It's vibrating sound particles. Axis, I would actually argue that if you want to use frequency to affect DNA, you're probably better off using electromagnetic frequencies. You understand? Along the electromagnetic spectrum. If you want to affect this DNA, probably better off using electromagnetism as opposed to acoustics. We could talk about it more, Rat Blood. Rat Blood and I sitting here basically telling the controllers how to control us. They probably know it already, Rat Blood, but it's the electromagnetic frequencies that are more likely to affect your cells. Because different frequencies have different ability to affect different biological structures, anatomical structures. Look at X-ray. Rat Blood. X-ray is it's a high frequency. It's a high it's higher on the spectrum of the electromagnetic spectrum. Get it? That's how an X-ray could look at your bones, which is basically dense connective tissue. That's why you can image your dense connective tissue with X-rays, because it has a way of interacting with certain density structures in a particular way. That's why the low frequency the low part of the electromagnetic spectrum, it kind of passes around you, like radar, radio. They're all lower on the frequency bandwidth in terms of their frequency. I know, Access, you sent me the link to that video, but you know I'm not going to press it because there's at least a 50% chance that link you sent me is just some type of satanic Satanist trap, dude. Right? So Access sends me the link. He presents it. It's like the vampire at the door. I have to choose to let him in. So Access really can't affect me until I choose it with some type of volitional act, some type of voluntary act. So Access, there's no way I'm going to press that fucking link. It's very likely that you embedded some weird fucking sigil magic spell into that link. I press it, and now I'm all of a sudden like under your fucking magic spell. I know how you operate, Axis. I get it, dude. I'm not falling for it. Right, No Despair Bear says, don't do it, Z. He knows. I mean, I like you, Axis Rat Blood, but I know you're not beyond that. I get it. Thank you, No Despair Bear. Nobody pressed that link. I'm going to have to go to my comments now and delete that so nobody else presses it, Axis. With your fucking demonic, satanic fucking bear traps. Your digital bear traps. I'm not walking into it. Alright, calm down, Yeti Life. Calm down. Yeti Life's getting triggered. Yeti Life wants to lay hands on Axis. That's not the way. You see, Yeti Life, that's the trap of the Satanists. Because he comes on here as a Satanist, but he espouses no physical violence. It seems like Axis Rat Blood could even be considered like a fucking pacifist. He follows natural law. So Yeti Life comes on here and he wants to drop the bomb, the physical bomb on, so to speak, on Axis Rat Blood. See how they do it, Yeti Life? Don't let him get to you. It's not how it works. We're not going to do that. We're not doing that. Right, Axis says right. Don't make the Satanists look good. We really want that to You see, Axis, I have so many questions for you, Axis, but I don't want to make this the Axis Rat Blood show again. I got to just let it sit. I have so many questions for you, Axis. You say you worship Satan. Who is that being? It seems like you place Satan as the quote-unquote almighty God, and then you talk about the lesser gods. Axis, is Satan the Yahweh character from the Old Testament? Did they fuck us over? Did they get us... Here's the trick, Axis. Are we all just with these Abrahamic religions? Are we really just all worshiping Satan? Are we really just worshiping the usurper of the throne? Heidi says yes. What's your thought on that, Axis? Is the Yahweh character just Satan? Are you just fucking worshiping Yahweh and just not telling us? The Tetragrammaton? I mean, the Yahweh figure is encoded in the tarot card. The true name of the Yahweh figure is apparently encoded in the tarot. I always forget which fucking card it is. Like Heidi says, the God of this world. Rough Bet says, no doubt. Axis says, yes. Heidi says, I nailed it. Guys, this is why we're here. Z coming through. The existential knowledge. Letting the world, yeah, he says, Yah-El. You know? The God of this world. Guys, it's a fucking inversion. That's why I have a tough time with the, what's my sentence? How did I say it? The dogmatic doctrine, believe in dogmatic doctrine, believe in, however I spun that. Let's just say the doctrine, believe in Bible people. It seems like you're really just worshiping Satan. I know that's hard for a lot of you guys. I don't know. It's just my take. I'm not saying I know, Razvan. Calm down, Razvan. Don't get excited. But I just had a Satanist come on and just confirm everything I just said. So anyway. Right, no despair bear. He said, here comes the triggered churchians, because it's really churchianity. Where's Toilet Bowl Earth when we need him? You know? You see, Rob, this is how my show works. I have to come on here and do this whole thing to get to the nuggets. Because somebody out there just had a revelation. I said, oh, fuck. Z and Axis Radblood are right. Fuck. It looks like Yahweh fucking basically usurped the throne. It seems like he wasn't the one that cast all these fallen ones out of the heavens. That indeed, he just seems to be the primary amongst the fallen, the leader. Ooh, guys. Is Z ruffling your delicate sensibilities this morning by letting you in all the big secret that all the fucking mystery schools seem to know that they've been hiding from us for all these fucking eons and eons? What did Svetlana say? They're all worshiping fucking Lucifer. Lucifer, Satan, okay, we could split hairs here. They're all worshiping the dark ones. In the Vatican, the fucking Jesuits, we can go on and on, guys. They just tricked you. That's all. Anyway. Rob happened. He says, I got the show low volume and got Paul in my ear. What happened, Rob? What are you talking about? I'm screaming? See, Rob, I can't win with you. Either I'm too low energy or I'm too high energy. Where's the middle ground for Rob Cleveland? I'm not sure. It's all right, Rob. You'll be able to get up here soon enough. Soon enough. Jay says he's like God and Satan are brothers, and God kicked his brother's ass down to earth. Look, man, I mean, you're close there, Jay. Probably right on. I'm going to get everybody in a little secret. Gather around, everybody. Razvan, Toilet Bowl Earth, Mr. Miyagi. Gather around, guys. Cuck Body Outline. RT. Love you, RT. Much love. See, he's going to let you in a little secret. Ready? The Old Testament, the Torah, right? Those first 5 books that attribute to Moses. You know, that include Genesis and Exodus and all these fucking things. Hey, Christos, good to see you. Laugh it up, Christos. Gather around, everybody. All those books, you know, the creation story, Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve, the God that created everything, the flood. I'm gonna let you in a little secret, guys. Get real close. They're just a copy of earlier stories from ancient cultures that pre-existed them by thousands of years. If we're to believe any of the history. Do you understand? The Sumerians wrote about all these fucking gods way before this Hebrew Old Testament stuff. You get it, guys? It's a remix. You know? Moses was like a DJ on the ones and twos. He was just remixing. Moses was the P. Diddy, was the Puff Daddy of the ancient world. You understand? Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, and all these early rappers, when they were just using these samples, they were remixing earlier stuff. Remember P. Diddy? I'll Be Missing You, when he came out after Biggie died. Every breath you take, every move you make. So he just used that hook, but it was a Sting song. It was a Police song. You know, I'll be missing you. I'll be watching you. They just remix all this stuff. So just like how these early 1990s rappers and producers and hip-hop producers were just sampling older songs. They were remixing it. That's what Moses did with these earlier Samaritan stories. You get it, guys? It's a remix. Anyway. Rob Cleveland likes my voice. That's right, Heidi. Heidi says she just melted when I sang. Sovereignist dropping the bars. You guys understand? Z just gave you like one of the highest level revelations that some of us know. But I do it in like a goofy way on this goofy show. So it's going to miss a lot of people. The Bible's not original, guys. It's just not. Get over yourselves, please. No Despair says, I'm coming up. Right. He's giving me all the samples. You know? Like, okay, when I was a kid, the first time I heard Ice Ice Baby, right? Doom, 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 da-da-doo-doom. Doom, 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 da-da-doom, doom. I didn't know that was a sample. I didn't know that was a sample from that iconic Queen and David Bowie collaboration song, Under Pressure. Doom, 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 da-da-doom, doom. I thought Vanilla Ice fucking produced that. I didn't know he was just some idiot. Shout out to Vanilla. I actually like Vanilla Ice. You know? I didn't know. I was just a kid. I thought Vanilla Ice fucking came up with that. But no, it was Under Pressure. You know? Give me a break. This is what Z's saying, okay? Moses was the Vanilla Ice of the ancient world. Quote that one, Niall. I want to see that one in quotes. Give me a break. No Despair Bear gets it. This is what we do on this show, guys. We hit the hard-hitting topics. We go deep. Right. Music holds a secret. Says the Bible's best played at 33.3 speed. Oh, God. Niall's claiming that Vanilla Ice saved rap. Vanilla Ice, Ice Ice Baby was one of the first cassette tapes I ever bought when I was a kid. I was a big Vanilla Ice fan for a certain time. Although I was a New Kids on the Block fan. But what does that tell you? I was young, guys. What did I know? Yolo says B is back with a brand new invention. Oh, man. That's right. YOLO. I rock a mic like a vandal. Vanilla Ice, he came out with a second song. It wasn't quite as popular. I'm trying to remember what it was. Ice Ice Baby was obviously a huge hit, but there was a second song, which I don't remember at this time. It wasn't quite as big. Yeah, No Despair Bets at 8th grade singing a lunch line. We're probably about the same age, No Despair Bear. Uriah Heep, Dean Kendall, you're showing your age there. I like Uriah Heep. They have good music. Everybody check out Uriah Heep. Good songs. Greetings to you, Calvin Mauve. We're talking music, Bible, everything this morning. Mr. Miyagi in the house. Mr. Miyagi, you learning something this morning, Mr. Miyagi? Pay attention, Mr. Miyagi. Go back and listen to this whole fucking monologue I did. You might learn something. Much love, Mr. Miyagi. He says he likes the Beastie Boys. I can't disagree. There's some good Beastie Boys albums. License to Ill. License to Ill is my favorite. Maybe Paul's Boutique. I don't know. Shout out to the Beastie Boys. Thunder Chicken's into Two Live Crew. I don't know. I can't. After meeting Scott 2B, who apparently was one of the founding members of Two Live Crew, I don't know if I could ever listen to them again. Two Live Crew's kind of off my playlist now. Much love to you, our singer. Goblin King's active this morning. He's getting it out. What does he say here? What did he say? Let me focus on Goblin King for a second. Because he's an interesting guy. This Goblin King guy. What is he saying here about Lucifer and shit? Goblin King says, one world is Luciferian doctrine, and that cannot be denied. And they denied the Messiah. Why is that? Oh, and it's not a coincidence that all the abominations are being normalized. Fair enough, Goblin King. It's hard to disagree with that. Fair enough. How you doing, Goblin King? We've heard you on these Metaversal streets talking about some of your, talking about your life, basically. Hope you're doing well, dude. Hope you're doing well. '76er says, so what side are you on? The good or the evil side? I don't know if you're talking to me or Goblin King, but Axis Raplitz is just one link, and you know what I'm doing. Yeah, Axis. I've got you pegged, bro. Blessings to you too, Goblin King. Much love, homie. Hope you're well. Thunder Chicken says, Heidi, I trust you're well and fine this morning. Yeah, Thunder Chicken and Heidi have this like whole thing going. They have this underlying like flirtatious relationship. Because Heidi lives in Florida. I don't want to dox her, but we all know that. And Thunder Chicken's from Florida. See, I know about everybody. I have my finger on the pulse, but so it seems like Thunder Chicken spends his winters in Florida. So if I had to guess, Thunder Chicken, it seems like you're trying to secure some like Florida winter, let's say companionship. I think Thunder Chicken's looking for somebody to spend his time with over this Florida winters. Although I can't imagine it gets too cold down there, but it might get chilly. So he's looking to cozy up, I think, with Heidi. Heidi's coy with it, but she's playing somewhat hard to get, but you can tell she's interested. Right, Heidi? It's okay. Am I onto something? Right. He's a snowbird. Uncle Rick, thank you. Uncle Rick knows all about snowbirds. Because he is... Uncle Rick, are you like a former snowbird who just decided to stay down there? Snowbirds are like people who fly south for the winter. Get it? Like in New York, all these Jewish people, like these rich Jewy people with money, they're snowbirds. They have enough money where they could just head down to Florida for the winter. And we know Uncle Rick is a New York Jewish guy. who lives in Florida now. So, Uncle Rick, are you a snowbird who just stayed there? You decided you weren't going to head back north for the summer months? I don't know. All right. Let's drop the link before Rob gets too pissed off. We know he's fuming. Either that or he's sleeping. If I wait too long to drop the link, Rob will just totally just start shitting on me everywhere. Who else is here? Wobbly Boost is here. Wobbly Boost had a showing yesterday. He went head to head against Andrew B. as they debated the great flat Earth shill controversy. Who's the shill in the flat Earth? Wobbly's invested in it. But it was weird, Wobbly. I was much less focused on your conversation/debate and just more focused on you, Wobbly. Your behaviors. I examine people, Wobbly. I observe them. So I was observing you, Wobbly, in your natural habitat, which is the Australian outback. I just found it weird, Wobbly, like the method that you were eating popcorn one kernel at a time. I was fixated on that. I don't know. Was anybody else fixated on that? Like watching Wobbly Boost? Like Wobbly, the weird thing is like you're basically live out in front of, a number of people here in the metaverse. You couldn't stop eating for like 5 minutes. And then as you're eating, you're just shoveling individual kernels of popcorn into your mouth, one after another. Like, who eats popcorn one kernel? Is that a thing, Heidi? I could see Heidi eating popcorn one kernel at a time, but it's weird watching Wobbly Boost do it. You typically just get a handful of kernels, you toss them in your mouth. You don't think about it. I don't know, Wobbly. Maybe there's something wrong with me, that's what I'm fucking focused on. Like, we're trying to have a high-level conversation about psyops, controlled opposition, and I'm focused on Wobbly eating fucking popcorn. Andrew B. here's now. He's weighing in. He says, what the fuck? I don't get why you would say that, Wobbly. What did he say? Oh, shit, Wobbly. You see, Wobbly, you and Andrew B. were having a nice, gentlemanly discourse yesterday. It was courteous. And what did you do, Wobbly? You took it in the gutter this morning. Wobbly says, I'll put it up here so as evidence. He says, poor Andrew B. is cursed with demon eyes. Demon eyes. Why would you say that, Wobbly? That's an ad hom, Wobbly. You're not making your case, Wobbly. You're not making a good case here. It looks like you offended Andrew. I mean, look, they're going at it now. People watching is fun, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. What are you guys saying? Andrew B., some people are just unlucky. You have demonic looking eyes, sweetheart. It's heating up here, guys. He says, I have blue eyes. Well, blue eyes tend to be characteristics of the fallen ones, Andrew, so I don't know, maybe Wobbly's onto something. I don't think he has demonic eyes. I mean, if I'm to be completely honest, he does have certain characteristics that may come off as creepy to some people. Maybe. Some may say, Andrew, that your whole overall presentation evidences some degree of creepiness. So I'm not going to disagree with Wobbly there. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to find Andrew like in some of the weird, the more unsavory parts of the dark web. Like, that wouldn't surprise me if Andrew's found his way to the murky, seedy underbelly of the dark web. That wouldn't surprise me, but like, I wouldn't be surprised if Andrew, like, I've never done it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Andrew You know, Andrew seemed like the guy who at least once has researched the age of legal consent for each state, because it's weird in the United States. It's not just like a federal thing. The age of consent is different for each of the 50 states. Some are 16, 17, 18. Don't ask me how I know these things. What I'm saying is, I'm sure, I can almost guarantee it, that our friend Andrew B is well acquainted with the age of consent for every single state that he may find himself in. I don't know. Sorry, Andrew. Just it's just a feeling that I have about you, Andrew. I'm not saying you're creepy. Well, I am saying you're creepy a little bit, Andrew, but I'm not I'm not going to claim that you're demonic like our friend Wobbly Boost. What are you saying, Rob? He says, Atetic, are you coming to Las Vegas in October? Oh, now you like me again, Rob. Now we're friends. Yesterday morning, you were going on your fellow stream, pretty much hating all over me. Now all of a sudden, you want me to come hang out with you in October. What's with that, Rob? I can't get I can't get your temperature, dude. I can't. Andrew says he's never done that. I'm not buying it, Andrew. I'm not buying it, Andrew. I guarantee you, if you're being honest, I can quiz you in the legal age of consent for every single state of the union, and you'd probably get at least 90% of them correct. I can almost guarantee it, man. Right, Calvin Mauve says, smash that like button. Share the channel. What do you think? The fucking algorithm's going to help me? I'm on here telling the world that the earth is flat, that the God that they're all worshiping and all their major fucking religions is basically Satan. Guys, that's the rub of this whole reality. That's the fucked up inversion of the whole reality. You're all worshiping Satan. Surprise. Surprise, everybody. You all worship Satan. Get it straight. Who do you think... See, I'm yelling. Mr. Miyagi, this isn't going to make me look good. I got to calm down. Heidi? Right, Uncle Rick's starting to laugh. Calm down, guys. Who do you think the Christ figure was talking about when he said your father is Satan? When he was talking to all these bullshit asshole... The fucking Pharisees, the Sadducees, all these fucks. Who do you think he was talking about when he said your father is Satan? He wasn't just saying that then when they basically converted to fucking Talmudism. He was talking about the whole thing. I don't know. It doesn't mean I'm right, guys. Just think about your world. I'm tired of it. It's weird. I want to be able to relate to you, Mr. Miyagi. And all you guys, Toy the Bull, and Drew from Cuck Body. I want to be able to relate to you guys. He says he was talking about the sons of Cain. Okay, we can go there, Mr. Miyagi. Unbelievable. Right, the Canaanites. This place isn't what you think, guys. I don't know. Anyway, let's rein it back in. Calvin wants me to sing, not shout. Right, Heidi. It's about me. This whole thing is about me. In case you haven't realized it yet. Who knows? I have to rein it in. Rob, it's too much otherwise. I can't come on here 21 hours a week. You know how insane that is? And just fucking go crazy. Mr. Miyagi says it was the Canaanites. Did I drop the link? I'm dropping it now. Hey, Rob, the link's in. You can breathe now, Rob. Link's in the chat. Canaanites. Which Canaanites, Mr. Miyagi? There's a lot of Canes. Are we talking about the, he says K yet. So are you talking about Ham, the lineage of Ham? Didn't Ham have his son? Wasn't Ham's son Cain? Right, Mr. Miyagi? You want me to flex on my Old Testament knowledge too? I can go there. Noah cursed Ham. So then his lineage was cursed. Right? Didn't the Canaanites come from the lineage of Ham? Right. Can't we also use, wasn't that also used, Mr. Miyagi, to justify black slavery in the deep antebellum South? I don't know. Maybe I'm going off here. Who knows? I'm sure somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. Christos knows what's up. He said, not sons of Cain and Canaanites are the son of Cain. Okay. That's the other interpretation of Cain. You actually might be wrong there, by the way, Mr. Miyagi, but we can go there. Mr. Miyagi, I conjecture sometimes that the lineage of Cain, there's an interpretation, Mr. Miyagi, that the first Cain and Abel were apparently twins. They were the firstborn of Eve. So we're going to go there, everybody. This one's for you, Goblin King and Razvan. Razvan's in the back. There's an interpretation of the scripture that Cain and Abel, the first two sons of Eve, were not of the line of Adam. That indeed they were probably some type of serpent seed. That's probably where Mr. Miyagi's going with this one. Right, he's talking about the concordance. All right, Mr. Miyagi, so are you going along the lines basically saying that Cain and Abel were not of the line of Adam? They seem to be some type of serpent line. Because if you check scripturally, the line of man comes from the third son of Eve. And his name was Seth. Nobody talks about Seth. Eve had a third son. Everybody talks about Cain and Abel. We apparently all came from Seth, for what it's worth. At least the Israelites did. Right, he says they're from the devil. He said, yeah, Cain killed Abel, then found a wife in the land of Nod. Thank you. But my point is not about his wife, bro. It's about his genetics. It's about the genetics of Cain. Is it possible? See, he's going deep this morning. This is what we're all here for, Rob. Are you enjoying the show this morning, Rob? Or do you just want me to flip out and scream at OTW News? Anyway. You can interpret the proverbial biting of the fruit when Eve bit of the fruit, the forbidden fruit. That could be looked at as a sexual act, sexual congress between Eve and the fucking serpent. We're told that the sons of God laid with the daughters of man, that their transgression was a sexual transgression with women. They weren't supposed to touch them. Was the proverbial biting of the apple Eve partaking in a sexual intercourse with the serpent? Thus, the line of Cain would be the serpentine line. Green Man says, that's what I thought. We talk about the fucking shape-shifting reptilians that are probably running this world. Somebody mentioned the fucking proposed draconian at the top of the fucking pyramid named Pindar. I'm throwing it all out there for you this morning, guys. Axis says Naga. Miyagi agrees. He says next in Adam genealogy is Seth. I'm saying, Mr. Miyagi, that even more so, that Adam is the only offspring. That Seth is the only offspring of Adam. That Cain and Abel weren't even of Adam's seed. I don't know. Guys, it's all fucking speculation. It's all allegorical. At least we're going somewhere with the whole thing. I'm trying to find common ground with you fucking assholes. We maybe learn something. Right, Emmanuel says the story of Genesis comes directly from the Enuma Elish and the Atrahasis, which are Babylonian, guys. That's all Babylonian cuneiform scripture and text. The creation story, which were later attributed to the Babylonians. Exactly, man. These are all Babylonian shit, dude. He said the myths sound more credible than the watered down Genesis. That's what I was trying to say, dude. Genesis is just a remix of all that stuff. The Enuma Elish to Adrahasis. Whatever. We're going too deep this morning, guys. Anyway. Both Razvan and Rob are here. Who do I bring up first? If I don't bring up Rob, he's going to get pissed off. Part of me doesn't want to bring you up, Rob. I was going to ice you out from my show for a while. I don't know. I'm a sucker. Let me bring him up. Rob, welcome back, dude. I'm not going to ice you out.
You didn't have to bring me up.
I know.
I wouldn't have gotten mad.
But you're here anyway.
Well, thank you for having me.
Why'd you ask me if I'm heading out to Vegas in October?
Because I'm curious.
What are you laughing at, London McLovin? You never know what London man's laughing at.
Yeah, man, I'm just curious. Would like to see if you were making your way down this way.
If I head out there, we're gonna chill. We're gonna hang out. How's this? If I go out there and you and I hang, we don't have to hang out with Brian O'Shea when I'm out there, right? Like that doesn't have to happen, right?
No, it doesn't.
Cool.
No, that'll make it quite awkward for the both of us because I'm pretty sure he's attracted to me and you, or you and I should say.
Right, that could turn into a pretty fucking weird situation.
Right.
I'd imagine that would get fucking pretty awkward really quickly. I'm thinking about going out there. I'm trying to make more of a splash in the whole flat Earth world, Rob, before I go out there. You know, I don't want to show up there as just like an everyday flat earther. I want the red carpet rolled out for me. That's my ego. You understand? Like I want a plane ticket. I don't want to just show up. I want Karen B to fly me out, get me up on the stage somehow. You know, I'm like that, Rob. It's weird.
Why don't you talk to her? She's real easy to get a hold of.
We'll see.
Smart enough that she'll probably let you go up and do a presentation.
We'll see how it goes. I'm hedging my bets in the flat Earth community. One of my listeners said he's going to try to hook me up with Mr. Whitsitt. We'll see how that goes. And
that was Andrew B, wasn't it?
No, well, he's one. Then there's another one. I don't want to say his name. I don't know if he wants me to, but
okay.
He said he's in touch with Whitsitt, quote unquote, every day. He's going to try to get Whitsitt on my show, dude. Rob, you think Whitsitt will have the balls to come on my show? I put it at a 50-50 chance. What do you think?
I think so. I mean, he just made an appearance on Bro Sanchez's channel. I think like 2 days ago.
I saw that. Whitsitt.
You know how shit goes over there.
Yeah, dude. Shout out to Bro Sanchez. He's holding the FE community down for all the black folk. Yeah, Whitsitt. Talk. But yeah, Andrew B presented a let's get him up here. He's in the back. Welcome back, Andrew B, to the show.
Hey, good morning.
Yeah, Andrew. So you've mentioned that Whitsitt and Jaron do their they have like a like a forum? Like what would you call it?
Well, they're calling it a summit. It's like what Karen B does, but they just they do it online instead.
It's an online summit. And they do it like a couple times a year, a few times a year. And Andrew B is advocating that I present for their summit, which Andrew B is great because I already have a great presentation ready to rumble, dude. That's fucking will literally blow people away, man. Not literally, it's figuratively. I hate Andrew. What are your thoughts? When people say literally, but they mean figuratively, does that bother you? It bothers me. Anyway.
I think people overuse the word literally way too much.
Like it's very Valley Girl, you know, like literally, like it's too
I was
Sweet
literally
Valley.
just thinking that.
Yeah, right, Rob. It's too sweet. It's too Sweet Valley High for me. It's too early '90s 90210 for me. Shout out to Brenda. What was I gonna say? I was more of a Kelly fan, less Brenda. I don't know. 3 people just got that reference, maybe 4. But yeah, dude, I have a really banger presentation for that, man. That's like, I think it's unique. It's fun. It's quirky, informative. Get me in with Witsit and Jaren, guys. We need to expand this whole thing. They need more of the Z kookiness in their world. Because here's the thing, Andrew and Rob. I want to bring more of the flat Earth community into the overall truthiverse in general. And I want to bring more of the truthiverse into the flat Earth community. I'm proposing a unification of the communities. What do you think, Andrew?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of information that you have that you can share and shed light on. And that's why when they were asking for recommendations for people to join into the summits, so I said, oh, I think Z would probably be a good candidate for that because you have a wealth of knowledge that you're always spilling out.
Right. Maybe I'll get the presentation together and I'll send them like a, you know, like a first cut, like a rough cut, you know.
Yeah.
See how they
make
like.
sure you're high energy.
And just to clarify, no, I've never done research on the age of consent for, you know.
It's just the way you look, Andrew. It's just sorry, man. You got a vibe about you. I'm not saying because you look like you're stand up enough, like you look like a moral and ethical guy. So I can't see you really, but I can see you trying to, you know. I don't know. Maybe I'm projecting, you know.
But you are.
You might want to walk the line.
I do know the age of consent in most states because it's really fucking easy. It's 18.
No, it's not, dude. You're wrong about
it's
that.
16 where I'm at. It's 16
Andrew, you're wrong. You really need to look into that. It's actually 16 for most of the states. It's like 30 some of the states, bro.
What?
People don't want you to know that, man. It's true, dude. It's true. It's not 18. That's a falsehood, misnomer, so to speak. Rob, the funny part is you and I know that. What does that say about us? So as I'm trying to like pretty much disparage and besmirch Andrew's fine name, you and I are the ones who are actually the fucking borderline. Joe from Effed Up World in the house. Good to see you, Joe. Joe, when are you going to come back on and talk to us, Joe? Maybe this morning, come back. I'm going to put a link in, Joe. If you're so inclined, I don't know if your camera ready, come talk to us. Don't feel pressured, Joe. I'm pushy like that, guys. I see somebody I want to come up and I just throw the link in, but you know,
must be nice.
Like I did that with Lucky yesterday, and you know, I think I took him by a little. I think he was off guard. He wasn't quite ready. The internet wasn't up to snuff. But
and then I have one more thing to say about my demonized. I'm not sure why Wobbly is saying I have demonized. I mean, all of my girlfriends seem to like my eyes quite a bit because I have blue eyes.
I don't know. Let's.
I'm not even sure what the fuck he's talking about, but don't use ad homs or character assassination type of things. It's not cool.
Yeah, you got blue eyes. I just zoomed in on him so we could see his eyes. Okay.
Well, I mean,
he's got blue eyes.
They might be a little bit red right now because I just enjoyed a little bit of the jazz cabbage. So
the jazz cabbage.
Nice. Like I said, blue eyes apparently are characteristics of the fallen ones. Although I do have Rh negative blood type, so apparently that means something about me. I'm not sure, but right. Niall says we're all hating on Andrew for no reason. It's weird. Why do you think Wobbly? How's this, Andrew? Let me ask you, dude. Why do you think Wobbly resorted to ad hom attacks against you? What does that say about him and his argument?
Well, that's what happens when people don't have an argument. They will attack you instead of the argument. I mean, that's like the definition of what an ad hominem is. in a debate. So, I mean, if you got something to say about it, then say it with a little bit of evidence.
Right. Who do you think smokes more of the devil's lettuce, you or Wobbly?
I don't smoke very much anymore. It's every maybe 3 or 4 days. So
Gotcha.
I have no idea. I don't even know if Wobbly smokes. I know he eats a fuckload of popcorn though for some reason.
Yeah, Wobbly. What's with the popcorn, dude? Was my critique of his popcorn eating habits, could that be considered an ad hom, Andrew? Is that why he went to resorting to the lowest common denominator of debate? I don't know, dude.
I don't know.
Could that be considered an ad hom?
No, well, if you're just pointing out what someone's doing.
Right. So, Andrew, how are you going to hook me up with these flat earth titans? I think you're right. I think I could start off with the presentation. Because, see, Andrew, that way I'm contributing to their whole process, right? So I'm not like, oh, what's it? Give me something, I'm the special boy. No, I can show them value. And then in some way, maybe I then get value in return, because what I learned is the greatest thing you could ever learn is just simply to love and be loved in return. So I could just put love out there and just maybe get some love in return. Give them something, and then maybe we'll see. That's how that's reciprocation, guys. That's how things work in this world. It's a synergy. You can create a synergistic relationship. I hate to break it to all you haters out there. It's not a zero-sum game. You don't have to just take energy from people. It's not going to work out for you. You can present yourself in this world. You can express yourself. Present some energy to the world. Maybe you'll get something back. Bunch of takers out here. Anyway, I just spurred out on that thing.
Right, present some energy, Z.
Right on, dude.
It's not going to be me hooking you up with them necessarily, but if you want to reach out to them, Jaron is on Telegram, and if you're not on Telegram, then I recommend doing so. It's the only form of social media that I use at all.
Right. It seems desperate to me. I'm just going to put it out in the etherverse. Let's see if Witsit just kind of finds his way over here. Well, we'll make it happen. Yeah. We're going to make it happen. That's kind of how I function, dude.
And one of the easy ways to talk to them is whenever they have one of their online shows and they have open calls, kind of like what you're doing right now. It's pretty easy to get a hold of Jaron. And like Witsit just did a presentation yesterday where he had open lines talking to a bunch of globies and stuff, but anybody could have called in.
Right. Rob, we got Razvan in the back.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't brought him up yet.
Let's let him up. Because he's... certain people are radio gold. Certain people are radio poison. Razvan's somewhere in between. There's certain elements that I like with Razvan. Like, he's got the accent. He's a prototypical villain. So Razvan's a good villain for me. But I suspect Razvan is starting to develop an affinity towards me. Right, Razvan? I see you back there. I think Razvan's becoming a Z fan, an acolyte, so to speak. Which is tough because he really makes a good villain, but I have plenty
Won't take long for him to turn.
Right.
To start shitting and pissing on the Bible.
Right, good point. So, although he makes a great villain, I don't know how good he makes of a Razvan's like the Loki character in the Marvel comics. Like, he started off as a bad guy. Oh, you're not a Marvel guy? He's like he's like a bad guy, but he's a good guy at the same time. It's weird. Like, he has both qualities. He has both attributes within himself. Right, our Zinger says I'm correct. Thank you, our Zinger. But I have Joe from Effed Up World in the back now, who's so much more interesting than Razvan. All right, let's bring up Razvan up as we wait. Joe, settle in, Joe. I'll bring you up in a few moments. Do your thing, Joe. Let's bring him up, Razvan. Razvan, welcome back to the stream.
Hey, Z. Thank you for having me.
Razvan,
Alright.
good morning. Although it's not morning where you are. Good to see you,
Yeah,
brother.
it's 1 o'clock. Good to see you. I just wanted to say that I appreciate your lives. You know, keeps me busy while I work. It's entertaining and it's nice for the mind. You know.
I appreciate that. See, Rob, at least somebody appreciates me, Rob Cleveland. Turns out, Razvan, Rob Cleveland's like my biggest critic. And
No.
so I appreciate you, Razvan. You know, you come on, you let me know.
And you know, and your sarcasm is starting to grow on me.
I appreciate that, you know.
Yeah, I bet you didn't feel like that on Skull and Bones Day, though.
Skull and Bones.
322 stream. Yeah, your infamous 322 stream where you told Crunchy B to delete himself.
That stream has gone down in YouTube infamy, Rob. It's gone down in infamy. I don't know if that stream made me or fucking broke or destroyed me. I guess only time will tell, Rob. Only time will tell. I appreciate that, Razvan. Razvan gets the whole Z thing. The Z thing's a vibe,
Yeah.
guys. It's a vibe.
And you're amongst the few streamers that are sober. I really appreciate that.
I appreciate you recognizing that, Razvan, because you are correct.
And
make
life
it a
is
point-
difficult.
Right.
Being sober
I'm-
is difficult.
I make it a point to be sober when I come on because I'm better. I can communicate much better. I don't drink, guys. Very rarely. Occasionally, like I'll go through periods where, I'll down a couple beers at the end of the night or with a meal or something. But alcohol doesn't mix well with me, and I even smoke weed less and less. But I haven't eliminated that totally from my life because, you know what it is, Razvan? I want to be present for the remainder of my life. I'm 44, dude. Right, so. I want to be able to experience the rest of my life in a state of a certain consciousness, man. I want to be present for people, my loved ones, all you guys out here. And I want to be able to experience it fully. And I find when I engage in any type of, let's say, mind-altering substance or any type of psychoactive compounds or otherwise, that I'm just off a little bit. I want to be more present. So thank you, Razvan.
Man, you look in your 30, man.
Much love. Yeah, I'm 44, home slice. But
Oh, all right.
yeah. Our friend Steve DD214, or formerly of DD214, asked me if I have any gray hairs yet. They're starting to come in, Steve. I plucked the gray hair from my beard, but more and more that's becoming an issue because eventually I'm just gonna pluck my whole fucking beard out. So yeah, the gray hairs are approaching, dude. But I don't know. I'm on the clock, so to speak.
And you know, Z, I want to say about blue eyes, I think these are just jealous people. They're jealous because they don't have blue eyes. I'm jealous, but I wouldn't trash someone. You know, I have green eyes.
Because you're jealous, you don't have to project that onto all of us.
Well, people saying about Andrew, you know, because he has blue eyes, he's some kind of devil or something. I think people are jealous on the guy's
one
eyes.
Specific person that said that.
Right. It's possible.
Yeah, that guy.
It's
Wobbly,
possible.
whatever. Yeah, I think he's jealous.
Right on, man. Much love, Razvan. I appreciate your take, dude. Turns out Razvan gets me more than almost anybody. Put it this way. Here's how I look at my show, Razvan. I love that symbol too. I'm going to incorporate that. Z Nation. Razvan, I'm like the Seinfeld of the truthiverse. You know how the Seinfeld show was the show about nothing, but it was like a huge hit. That's how I'm good. That's how my show is going to be. It's just about me. That's the concept. There's the show is me. It's like the show about nothing, but within that, there's like something there. Ironically, I don't know. Maybe Uncle Rick knows what I'm talking about. He gets it, guarantee. All right, Razvan. Come visit us soon, okay? It was good checking in with you, homie. Much love. Much love, Razvan. I'm gonna get rid of you, even though I like you, but I don't want it to go south. Like, we're in a good spot right now, you know. I'm gonna let you go. Much
And for
love the
people that
Raz
are not
fan.
aware of what you were just talking about, a show about nothing, that's what Seinfeld was based on.
Right.
Larry David, the producer, was
Right.
gonna just create a show about nothing, and then they actually did an entire Seinfeld episode about how Larry David came up with the idea.
Right. About nothing. Didn't I say
No
that?
wonder that
Andrew,
show was
Andrew,
so shitty.
Andrew
Oh, I
must
didn't hear you
have
say
missed
Seinfeld.
that. I knew Rob was not going to be a Seinfeld fan because Rob doesn't see Andrew. Rob doesn't really get my show. He doesn't get my shtick. He doesn't.
Jesus
I know Rob.
fucking
I know Rob likes me, but he doesn't get my shticky show yet. And I knew Rob would not be a Seinfeld fan.
Well, of course
That's
not.
all right,
I'm also
Rob.
not a white guy.
Give it time. Give it time. You just got again. It's a matter of perspective. Let's let up our next guest. I like the format, Andrew. I like how the guests kind of come rolling in and stuff.
Yeah, and someone else that's in chat right now, Troubling Tribune. I'm not sure if you've ever watched his channel before.
Oh, dude, he's been on my show like more than 5 times, dude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Troubling Tribune's prominently featured here in the Z Show. No, I love his stuff, dude. But I'm gonna hold off on Tribune. I love Tribune, but I don't want Tribune to. We can't have too many like legends in the room at once because Troubling Tribune is well on his way to legendary status within the flat Earth community. And what do you mean, Heidi? Rob, why does Heidi always try to act like my producer? I love you, Heidi. You're my bottom bitch, but you're not my producer. You interrupted my thought.
Saying?
She said, Z, please read Dean's comments. You're killing me. Dean says, do you have any advice for people building above ground pools in the current environmental disaster? What the fuck is that supposed to mean? I've literally no clue.
Because you're a pool boy? Maybe because you
I
were,
used to
or wanted
build,
to be a
yes,
pool
I
boy?
used to install above ground pools. I built many of them. I don't really know how to.
There you go.
I don't know how that fucking comment relates to the current environmental disaster. Do you have any advice for anyone building above ground pools right now? Dean Diaz. I don't know. Just build the pool. What are you talking about? What does it have to do? What does it have to do with the environment? Are you saying pools are bad for the environment? Maybe. See, Heidi, what are you? Heidi, that's the last time I take your advice on producing my show. It's never going to happen again, Heidi. Heidi, play your role. We all have to learn our roles around here. Your role's bottom bitch. Your main role, Heidi, is to farm these other bitches. You understand? You have to get all these other women into the orbit. That's what the bottom bitch does. You don't fucking sit here and try to produce my show. You just got to you got to get all the other chicks in. You got to get the Christy Lee dolls, the Marikas. You got to get them into the whole fucking scene, Heidi. Where was I? Sorry. Let me reset. Yeah. So Troubling Tribune's on his way to becoming a legend. But my next guest, Joe from Effed Up World. Andrew, I'm going to say it. Joe may have established himself as a flat Earth legend. What do you think, Andrew? Am I jumping the gun on Joe or what?
I need to see a little bit more of his content before I can.
Oh, you're not familiar with Effed Up World's content. You're fucking.
I've seen some of it,
dude.
but I haven't
All
seen.
Right.
I mean, I've only got so many hours in the day to watch stuff.
All right, I'm going to say it here. I know you're being diplomatic. No, Heidi, it's called Bottom Bitch. Just check out the pimp community. Come on.
And by the
Bottom
way,
bitch is the top bitch. I know it sounds like an inversion, but anyway, go
I
ahead,
didn't know
Andrew.
what that phrase actually meant until South Park did an episode about it when Butters became a pimp. Not sure if you ever saw that or not.
No, that's funny already. Go ahead.
But yeah, it's when Butters he becomes a pimp and he's got his bottom bitch. And
Exactly.
You have to go back and watch that episode. That was a classic one.
Right. So yeah, I don't know, Andrew. I mean, you might not be familiar with Joe from Effed Up World's work, but I certainly am. Many of us are, and I don't know. I'm putting Joe up there. Joe, maybe I'm the first one to say it, Joe. Maybe I'm the first guy to put you on the Mount Rushmore, so to speak, of flat earthers. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, bring him on.
Andrew, your buddy Dave Weiss, the Flat Earth Unicorn, he mentions Joe frequently, often. I don't know. I don't want to say that Weiss is the arbiter of all things flat Earth, but you see, Rob doesn't get what I'm doing here, Andrew. He doesn't get the whole shticky Seinfeld like Jewish like a lot of my comedy. Rob is very Jewy. I fell in love with like Jewish comedians growing up. Well, I didn't realize almost every comedian was Jewish. When you're a kid in the 80s and 90s, you see certain comedians and you like their stuff, and then you realize they're all just fucking Jewish. You know, there's something weird about that. Like I always thought Andrew Dice Clay from the 1980s was like a Guido-y type of guy. Turns out he's a Jew, like Uncle Rick. You think he's a Guido when you see him, but he's a Jewish guy. Right. Three Fingers knows what I'm talking about.
A lot of Jews actually have changed their names throughout.
Right.
When they went to Hollywood.
Right. They confuse everybody. All the early comedy was Jewish. When you go back to like all the fucking Mel Brooks stuff, all the early shit, it's all real Jewy. I didn't know it until I got older. You know, you can keep going. It's not just Mel Brooks. It's on and on.
I also
like Emmanuel says, I didn't know Adam Sandler was Jewish until he came out with the Hanukkah song. And then I said, oh, he's fucking Jewish. I didn't know. There's so many examples, dude.
You were talking about like frequencies earlier, and it reminded me of a video. If I can share it with you, it's pretty freaking amazing. I'm not sure if you want to see it or not. It's pretty short. There's not going to be.
Hold on, I don't share stuff here, but what is it? Is it the thing with the water?
Yeah, how water comes out of a spout, and
right.
It looks like it's going upside down, but it's not. And you can.
Why don't you do this? Put it. Because this is like I have like a podcast thing, so I cater to people listening. So I don't want. It's weird. I run my shows. I'd rather not show it.
Okay.
Because I picture there's a guy somewhere right now and he's like doing something on a farm, and I don't want him to feel like he's missing it. I'm weird like that. I'm OCD, Andrew. Drop the link in the chat for people. But he's referencing. See, it's weird, Andrew. I knew what you were going to present before you presented it. How did I know that? It's fucking strange, right? But it shows about how water and frequency work, and yeah, I'm fascinated. Hey, for anybody, Andrew just put the link to what he wanted to reference in it. It's crazy. It just shows how water and frequency are related. But anyway, I don't want to keep my next guest waiting. So anyway, come on, Z, get it together. Let's cleanse the palate. I'm leaving you up, Rob. I'm not kicking you off. Because
man,
I think
do what you feel.
No, well, you fit in here, Rob. See, that's the thing, Rob. You fit in here. So I want you here.
Well, thank you.
Yo, London man, the thing that Andrew just dropped, you should present on your channel because it's fucking fascinating. Anyway. Let me get it together. My next guest is Joe from Effed Up World. I consider him amongst one of the Flat Earth greats already. You all may not recognize it, but I do. He's presented some great groundbreaking stuff already on the show. And let's bring him up now. Joe, welcome back to the stream, homie.
What's up? Can you hear me? I had to do that. How's it going?
Nice one. Good to see you, dude.
Good to see you.
How's it going, man?
Good. Going good. Haven't even headed off to work yet, but that can wait, right? I'm never in too much of a hurry to get there.
Who is, dude? Is anybody ever in a hurry to get to work?
Well, if work was talking about truth and stuff like that, I'd be in a hurry to get to work. But this morning I have to build some porch columns. So it's a little different. It's not as freeing, I guess. You know, when you guys ever feel stuck when you're at work, like where you're like, this is a pointless thing. What is it? What does it mean to make money?
Well, here's
I
the
don't-
thing, dude. I agree with it, dude. That's kind of why Joe, I went through years and years of thinking that until I hit a point where I cut the cord on the whole thing, and I just decided that I'd rather just go broke, just start off from like, let's say ground zero, so to speak, and then
Yeah.
go from there, because I got tired of working for somebody else's dream, you know?
Yep.
I hit a point where, I'm at a point now where I don't have to go into my whole profession and everything. And I've owned businesses in the past, but even more recently, I go work for people, and people were throwing me some good fiat. I'm the type of guy, I mean, I'll do a humble brag here. It's not even humble brag, I'm just bragging. Usually when I show up to a company, it's within very short time, I'm in some leadership position. I'm a manager, I'm a supervisor, I'm leading a crew, I'm leading something. It always happens, but I got tired of working for other people. So people were throwing me fiat, but I'm working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and I'm pouring all my time, energy, and attention, all my life force into somebody else's dream. Joe, I decided I wasn't going to do it anymore. I decided I'd rather just start from the fucking bottom and work on my own dreams and work from the fucking ground up, and fucking everything else be damned. Anyway, dude, I just went off there.
There's like a
but-
status. There's like a status thing. Sorry to interrupt you. Like it's like only personal thing that I think we all kind of deal with like a career. I used to feel like my business had to be something, or like I had to be successful that way. And then I found out that if you're good at doing something and it's something that people need, you're never going to stop being busy. But I did the similar thing like probably close to 10 years ago now, where I just like I'm sure I was making more money than I am now, but life was about that. Life was about building stuff and just, trying to build my business or whatever. And that changed like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago. And I was just like, wait a minute. There's things that are important in life that
Dude.
I haven't even explored,
Hell yeah, dude. Hold on a second. I don't mean to cut you off, Joe.
No, you're good.
Because like I said, I do consider you
I got
a
my
flat
buddy
Earth
here.
legend. I consider you a flat Earth legend at this point. But so it's weird for me cutting you off. But Brian O'Shea's here. He showed up this morning, and he's asking for the link. So is that what you do, Brian? You just show up and you just try to strong arm a link out of me? Your first words in chat are link. You can't warm up. You can't say hi to everybody. You just come in and ask for the link. You want to strong arm your way on my show, Brian? Who says I want to let you up here? Brian, I have Joe from Effed Up World up here. I have 4, including myself, real flat earthers up here, Brian. You're obviously a flat earther, but you're afraid to call yourself one, and you decide you're just going to go against the whole flat earth community. You trash Karen Beat every single day. You tried to make a hit video against me, Jaron, and Witsit the other day. And now you just come here and you just demand a link, and I'm supposed to just give it to you? Here, Brian, here's the link. I'm here to please. What do you have to say to us? You're going to come up here and you're going to scream about melted brick buildings and that we're all assholes because we're looping on the flat earth, but you can't stop looping on the fucking melted brick buildings, and you think that's somehow different? Okay, Brian, I'll indulge you. Come on up. Let's see you embarrass yourself in front of everybody. It's insane. Sorry, guys. I just went off on Brian for a second. And here's the thing, Brian. We all love you. At least I do. I don't want to speak for everybody else. O'Shea. But you're going off lately. You seem like you're fucking unhinged, if you want to know the truth. You've been going on. You've been popping off against Paulie Boy. You sat there for months on end under the tutelage of the White Gorilla. And then you decided that you were just going to basically pull some weird fucking heel turn. And we're all watching you spiral, descent into some type of fucking depraved state. I don't know, fucking Brian. Now, I invited Joe up here, and now you're going to come up and you're going to step all over his fucking presentation. I want Joe to talk about his idea of the heavens and the cosmos, fucking what space really is, the abyss. The guy's got some groundbreaking fucking knowledge. And here I am fucking playing reindeer games with your fucking broke ass. Go ahead, Joe.
There's some crazy stuff like that. Just, you know how, like, I think a lot of us would agree that we were born into a world that had the wrong idea about the world itself. Like what this world is. Austin from the Melodome, me and him did like a live stream on his channel, and it was called WTF is this place? Like, because he sent me a text. We were texting back and forth, and then one of the texts he sent was, what is this place? Like, the thing that we're experiencing, especially in the time we're in now, is even more insane because, like, look, there's 4 of us on here right now from different parts of the world, and we're having a real-time conversation. That's pretty wild right there. I mean, that's a new thing. That's how long have we been able to do this type of thing? 10 years, maybe? Something like that? And it's, you know, pretty choppy back when Google Hangouts and stuff. Some of that was pretty early in this kind of forum where we can just have live conversation whatever time of the day and broadcast it or whatever.
It's crazy technology, man. It fucking really is.
It is. And then just to have, you know, I don't know, I'm not trying to like speak for everybody's beliefs or something, but to have 4 people in a room that think differently about the world that they grew up in, you know, like
right.
What causes that? That's a mystery to me that I think is very interesting. But a lot of these old books, these apocrypha books and stuff, they talk about at this time, people call it the end times or the end of days or the end of the age or whatever. That all these books talk about this day of the Lord. You know, there's all these different names for this time that's to come, and in this time, like all these old books are talking about a secret being revealed that change everything. And it would be the truth, and people would find out that right. They were living in a lie, and that's just amazing.
Call it the revelation, call it the apocalypse. I mean, that's just a term we could put on it. Yep. All these diverse cultures talked about this time period and what it may be, and we're all, you know, all the people on the panel here at least have an alternate understanding, at least compared to most of the normies, and so does Brian O'Shea. I'm going to let you up, Brian. You know, you just got. Like London McLovin just said he's subscribed to you, O'Shea. So I'm going to let you up, Brian. Brian, you're a flat earther. Why are you rebelling against the flat earth community, dude? What's your fucking problem, Brian? All right, welcome back to the stream, Brian O'Shea.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Can we see you, sir?
What's your deal, Brian? Why you what's your new is this a tactic that you're going for, O'Shea, or is this the real deal? Or are we just watching you spiral emotionally, spiritually, and otherwise? What's going on with you?
Could be a combination of all 3.
All right.
Yeah, flat earth just fucking sucks, dude. And the fact that and I'm a flat earther probably more than I am.
Right, so is it possible that you're dealing with some type of self-hatred that you're just projecting all over everybody? You know, because it's tough enough to be a flat earther, O'Shea. It's tough enough to go around saying the earth's flat and everybody look at you like you're stupid. Why don't you just embrace it? Why do you got to turn on everybody? Like I'm
not turning on the theory.
You're being a prick. Go ahead. I don't want to talk over you.
It has nothing to do with the theory of it or whether it's true or not. It's the fact that everyone in the community and everyone that makes videos about it's a lame, a simp, a cupcake. It's old. It's fucking played out. It's like if anything,
so what?
I
We're
think
supposed to just move on and forget about it and never talk about it again.
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say
the greatest revelation. It's like Joe said. It's quite likely that the globe lie and us waking up to this fucking lie of this world may indeed be the apocalypse itself, dude. It may be what has been spoken about in Scripture. You want us all just to shut the fuck up about it?
Well,
sorry,
I guess there might be. No, you're good. I just there might be something to what you're saying, but it's just for me personally, I just can't sit through any video. I'm not going to sit there and go through a Witsit Gets It video. I'm not going to sit there at a Duran's. I'm not going to sit there at Globe Busters. I'm not going to sit at Karen B's thing. I'm just not going to. It just doesn't.
So then why are you doing it? Why are you at Karen B's show every fucking morning that she goes on, dude? You're there. You're in her chats. You're on the phone. So you're not going to be there as you're there. Explain that to the audience. Sorry, I'm getting upset.
You're good. She made the hit piece on Meltology, doubled down, made it into a separate video, released that. So she started something, and I'm going to finish it. And Meltology, I just did a little. It might have been my first one yesterday, where I was just kind of fucking around, showing some pictures. I had boots on the ground Meltology yesterday, and I'm in a primo Meltology spot, I think, because that might have been my first hike since being in Vegas for like a month or so, where I did some footage yesterday. But the stuff I showed was from Arizona, which is also Meltology, Paradise, Wet Dream. But I just feel like Meltology is way more exciting. The stuff that like Ceiling Fan Man, True Seeker 69 Gen, Shapu, like the stuff they make is, even though they don't get a big audience or big numbers, I just feel like their stuff's more interesting to me. And sure, I don't sit there and watch their shit like all the way through, or Ceiling Fan Man, but I feel like
hold on. I'm going to cut you off. So, all right, here's my point, O'Shea. Okay, so you like the Meltology stuff. So how does that equal you shitting all over the flat Earth people? That's
Karen B shitted on Meltology.
Hold on. This is an indication. So what? She's the whole community. This is a window. Hold on, O'Shea. We could all learn something here. I'm going to fucking psychologically break you down. This is a window into your psychology, dude. This is a window into the internal pendulum swing, like struggle that you have within you, because you have no resolution within yourself. You say you're bisexual, so as you are internally swinging, all right, not only amongst your thoughts, but indeed even amongst your fucking sexuality and your sexual desires, you're doing the same pendulum swing out on this whole community. So in your mind, because you like melted bricks, you need to shit all over the flat Earth. But as you call yourself a flat earther, which means you're shitting on yourself. Do you understand, Brian, how you're just playing out your dysfunction in front of the whole metaverse? Don't you see that? Go ahead.
I mean, I'm not going to discount anything you say, even though in the therapeutic role, it's kind of bizarre what you're doing with Trisha Bastone as you try to do a therapeutic breakdown of me. You're breaking one of the cardinal rules, and I think Paul called you out on it. You know, as the counselor in the situation, you're falling in love with your patient and trying to, say, "Oh, we had the same childhood. I love you. Your father's a narcissist." That's not very, you can't really be doing that as a therapist, dude. You can't just be boning your client and marrying them and shit. You know what I mean, dude?
That's why you don't see the doctor in front of the Z. It's just Z. We left the doctor thing. We left the doctor thing behind, Brian. I did that for a reason. I want to be able to take advantage of this metaversal trim. Speaking of that, Brian, we've seen your journey on YouTube and across the truthiverse, and you have been able to parlay your presence here, your YouTube celebrity. You seem to have been able to parlay that into some type of sexual conquest. We actually watched it all play out on air. For those of you who don't know Brian O'Shea, he used his YouTube celebrity to basically complete a sexual conquest of a pretty fairly attractive, at least physically, woman, dude. How was that for you, dude?
I don't know if I used it, but in their mind, see, that was the thing that was trippy. When I showed up, the first thing they said was, "It's Brian O'Shea and Kill Tony," because they're big Kill Tony fans, and I had like the longest interview on it. They consider it maybe the best one, and so that was the first words out of their mouth, or out of Jeffrey's mouth, introducing me to Allie. And but yeah, that journey was weird. It was clearly that I was lusting over her, and I just go on instinct, and I don't think things through a lot. But in hindsight, through breaking it down with Paul and other people, there was more there than I recognized, and there was more to me even than I recognized. I discount myself sometimes. But yeah, that was an interesting situation to say the least. Yeah, attractive woman I was lusting over. Didn't really, and the funny thing about it is like the whole time, I don't know, dude. I don't know if I want to get into it about them.
All right, don't worry about it. Save it. We've been there.
But the point I was going to make was like my confidence, like basically it could have happened, and I didn't see it like the first, like when Paul said, you're going to show up and nothing's going to happen. Because when I showed up, something that probably immediately could happen in hindsight. But see, I don't even know. I can't read situations, or I doubt myself. Like
We
I
know
don't
you
see how
doubt
they look at
yourself.
me.
Of course you
Yeah.
do. Here's the real question, and admit it, because you've recently come out as bisexual. Then I'm going to let you go because I got to get to Joe, and there's no way I'm going to be able to get to Joe with you here. Did you have? Because you said you're bisexual. You talked about this.
I don't know if I
conquest
said
of
I'm
Annie.
bisexual. I
Okay,
said I
you're
was a
going to
little
back.
bi-curious. I was
All right.
exploring some of the bi-bri
Bro, you
side.
keep calling yourself bi, bro.
Right.
Well, that
Come
was a
on.
thing. That was in the past. That
All
was like
right.
a
So
few
my
days
question
ago.
was going to be, Brian, did Jeffrey Phillips engage in any sexual activity with you as you were in his trailer?
No.
Yes or no? All right.
No.
He says no. He says no. Fair enough. All right, Brian. I love you. I might be the only one left that still loves you, Brian, but I do. So how many more Zetetic Warrior? How many more times are you gonna put my name in your?
Well, I was
your
trying to help you
videos?
out because you were kind of like
Right.
sucking the ball sack of Dranism and Wits It Gets It when that one dude brought up possibly speaking at a conference and getting paid with them. You're like, I don't know. I didn't even know how to get their email. Those guys. I'm like, God, I don't even know what they know about me. And it's like, come on, Z. You got to see it in
Okay.
yourself, dude.
Okay,
Get away from
Brian.
these people. They suck.
like
They're
Wits
going
It, dude.
nowhere.
I don't know,
They're going
man.
nowhere.
I'm a Wits It fan. Put it that way.
Yeah,
I love you,
I met him in
Brian.
person. All right, I'll see you later.
Okay, I love you. Everybody, check out O'Shea. Much love, dude.
I hate-
He's a lovable guy. He's a lovable guy. I don't know. Somebody loves him somewhere. I love you, Brian. Let's get back to Joe because he has to fucking get to work, dude.
I was gonna comment on what you and Brian were just talking about Jeranism, Witses, and all that. No matter what I said, Z's not always gonna agree with all of it. Period. And that should be something that we can embrace. That we don't have to think the same about everything in order to be friends, in order to learn from each other or whatever. But what Brian seems to be like, oh, they talk trash about something I believe in. Well, let it go. Brush it off.
Exactly.
Making a video about it isn't going to benefit really anyone. You guys see my cat over my shoulder? He's like hanging out on my green screen. But no, I think that there's a place for criticism of things, like if the mud flood or the melted bricks or whatever, that thing, that might be huge for some people and it might not be for other people. But that kind of goes into what we were talking about where we live, the place we live. I think we were believing a lie about it. That's to put it in general terms. So that would be the ground, right? We've been talking.
That's a good starting place, Joe. That's the jumping off point. And I always say this to people is that, okay, Z and Joe from Effed Up World and Andrew and Rob, we may not be able to tell you what this place is, but we can tell you what it's not, okay?
Yep.
It's not a spinning space globe. We know that. It's
not in an abyss.
Right. Let's go into it for the new listeners, Joe, because you and I have gone deep on some of these topics, and I want to hit the highlights of your of your content. So maybe then people could, they could head over to your channel, Effed Up World. Feel free to put a link in, Joe, or any of my mods who want to drop Joe's link in. Joe, you're modded up. You could drop it if you want. I think you're modded.
Yeah, I am. I'm modded up.
So Joe has some very unique ideas, some theories about this realm, what it may be, of course, what it's not. Joe realized he's very scriptural. What's up, Benton? Benton, you might like this, Benton, because you're a scriptural guy, but I don't think Benton's a flat earther. Benton doesn't seem to be on the flat earth vibe. He hasn't gotten there yet. Much love, Benton. But Benton does seem to be a scriptural guy. And I know you would consider yourself scriptural. Joe, would you consider yourself a Christian?
Yes, in one aspect. In another aspect, I would run away from that word.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
Yeah, I think you probably understand that. I follow Christ, yes.
Right. But, Joe, you have an understanding and a knowledge of the scriptures that matches, at least as much as anybody I've seen, at least in this metaverse. So you're very scripturally aware, not only with the canonical gospels, but even the more apocryphal stuff, I'm sure you
Mm-hmm.
had your head in this septuagintic shit.
I've
all that
had it
stuff.
everywhere that I could find it.
Right.
That, you know, there's a lot. There's
Right.
a lot of stuff we could call like scripture, I guess.
Right.
Not that's outside of the Bible itself.
Right. So
But
I'm
a
trying
lot
to
of
paint
it-
as. Go ahead.
Oh no, okay. So here's where I think what I would say that I've learned that seems to be maybe different than a lot of people is that, okay, if we were to say, oh, look at the space or the space astronauts and look at their space vehicles, like most of us are gonna laugh and be like, okay, because it's like most people say, or not most people in the world, but I'm saying most people that would probably be here listening to the show and being like, there's something suspect about space itself, the idea of space. And I think it's the solar system that's suspect. If we look at the solar system, what is the solar system? I've told people a lot of times, okay, get a picture in your mind of the solar system. Just picture the solar system. Okay, in that image, where are you? What's your vantage point? Is it somewhere that's real, or is it somewhere that's just made up, where you can look at the solar system? We've all seen the pictures of it, and it's
Right.
not a
It's
place
like,
that
it's like
anybody's
you
ever
are
been.
here, Joe.
Yeah.
It's like you are here, and then
Yep.
they've conditioned us to picture Earth, third rock from the sun,
Yep.
the orbiting the stuff. But the reality is, you are here is just go outside, look
Yep.
up to the heavens,
Yes, go out
and
the
you
front
are
door.
here. You are right where your feet are,
Yep.
and you are here is your vantage point of the heavens. That's where you are. Everything else was fucking. See, Joe, I
Made
start
up.
to scream at my fucking viewers, but they've
No,
made
I
all
get
that
it.
other shit up. Do you understand?
Yep. And people
That's
still believe it. That's what's frustrating.
a
That people
fucking
just fall
joke.
for it. Yeah.
You
So
know
what
I
is
try
the
to
solar
impart to
system,
people?
though?
Hold on, Joe. I do
Yep.
this. I try to keep
No.
this energy here, but
I know how you do, Z. I like it. You're good.
Right. So here's what I say, dude. It's like this. It's flat Earth, but it's really a geocentric cosmology, Joe. That's the difference. They put the sun at the center of the cosmology and said that we exist outside of it as amongst the other planets. And for
Yep.
anybody who's new to the subject or in some way, just kind of whatever, like a neophyte, it's not what it is, guys. The cosmology, by all intents and purposes, appears to be a geocentric cosmology,
Everything
which
about
is
it.
our experience. That's our whole experience, is that we're
Mhm.
here and the heavens are above us. Guys,
they go
it's not
around
an
us.
archaic concept. We're not ignorant or stupid. Do you understand? Joe and I and Andrew and Steve, Rob Cleveland, we all believed in the same thing that you guys still think is real.
We live
We
there.
just came on to a different understanding. It's about a geocentric cosmology. It means the Earth is the center of the heavens. And everything appears to be spinning around us, guys. That's a good place to start with people, Joe, because I'm realizing, Joe, we got to keep it real simple for people and then move on from there.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Let's get
And-
into some more. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say about the solar system, the sky part of our reality. We have like the part we stand and live on, but the part that's above us, it's a huge. I mean, if you go outside and you look, it's like this like dome or whatever you want to call it. You perceive this entire huge sky, and we were all taught that the ground was part of that sky, and it's not. The ground is always part of the ground. It has nothing to do with the sky. The sky has all these lights, and the lights are moving around, and like you were saying, the lights are moving around us on the ground. This is a very special place that we're in. But so then like recently in the last 60 years or whatever, they started to learn what low Earth orbit is and what an orbit at all is, and all these things seem to verify gravity and Earth being a globe and the center of Earth having this gravitational pull, and that's how low Earth orbit can work, and all these things that people would call science, or they would even say that they're observations. But if you shoot something into the sky and it stays in the sky, that doesn't mean that there's gravity. It doesn't mean any of these things. It just means
Right,
you
so let's
shot
go
something
into
into the
that.
sky.
And it stayed
Yeah.
there. Exactly. All right, let's go into
Yeah.
it, Joe, because one of the things I particularly like about your theories, so to speak, is that many, if not most, flat earthers, we have our own dogmas. And a lot of the dogma is that NASA, the SpaceX, Elon Musk bullshit is just all a fireworks show. It's just all a puppet show.
CGI and
right, that it's CGI, that it's, you know, that it's balloons, that we're blasting this stuff up and it's really just going nowhere. That the space shuttle's just getting blasted off and these rockets are just going back into the ocean to like the fucking Bermuda Triangle, whatever. That's a common theme amongst flat earthers, but you seem to have a different concept. You feel as though there may be something going on in the skies, that the International Space Station may be something we should be looking at, but just in a different way. That the concept of satellites, or these lights that are moving in the sky that appear to be somewhat artificial, may have more to it than what appears to meet the eye. Go ahead. Can you go into that a little bit?
So on the Earth, we have physics. We really do understand a lot about this world that we live in. I'm just saying, like, ice freezes at 32 degrees and all the physics we know about the world, that's consistent. It's like laws that are here that are, they just can't be argued with. You know, if you drop something, it falls, and if you let a helium balloon go, it goes up. Just the physics we know. But what scientists or whatever have done, like modern science, they say we can apply those physics to everything in the sky, because they assume that the sky is a place where there's physical and material things. And we know there's airplanes and things like that in the sky. But what if you go higher and higher and higher, what happens? The air gets so thin that it's essentially no air. You couldn't be out there with up that high, like in like even when you're flying on a commercial jet, you couldn't breathe up there. You need pressurized cabin. You need oxygen if you didn't have it, because there's not enough of it to breathe up there. If you've climbed a mountain of any significant height, you understand this, because as you go up, you start realizing I need air and I can't get it, and it gets harder and harder as you go up. But if physics are applied to that up there, then say, oh, like Galileo looked and he saw moons around Jupiter, and he's like, this verifies gravity a lot. You know, Jupiter has gravity and these moons are going around it. I mean, that's what's happening. And people just start to believe this stuff because Galileo had a telescope or whatever. He had a Fisher-Price telescope.
It's just a theory, right,
it's just
Joe?
an
I mean, that's the thing. A theory is basically an idea that's not proven, guys. When it becomes proven, it's a law. Here's how I look at it, Joe. A theory is a theory until it's proven, and a law is a law until it's disproven. It's really basic logic for me, dude. So when just somebody says, okay, there's two lights in the sky and things are spinning around each other and that equals gravity, it's faulty logic. And Joe, I think a lot of it is we're not taught logic anymore. We're not taught how to think. So
no,
people
we're taught to think
fall for
certain
this
things.
Ruse, you know? Right.
Yeah. And
that's indoctrination and things like that. So people associate gravity. Okay, things fall down. That's gravity. Guys, gravity is a theory, and there's no proof of it whatsoever. But
the nature of the world we live in is that things fall down. That's just the nature of how this world is. That, you know, when the sun comes up in the morning, you know it's morning because the sun's coming up or whatever. Our world has things that happen in it that are part of the nature of it. You know,
right, Joe. What do you say to people who they sort of dismiss the flat Earth topic as if it's not important? I'll give you my theory. They just don't understand it. I just think they don't understand it, because if you really understood the topic, you can't dismiss it. I look at it as a defense mechanism. I look at it as like a cog disc, because I think, Joe, if they really open their mind to the understanding that they've been lied to on such a huge level, that the magnitude of the lie is so extreme, I think what happens is it shatters the very foundations of your identity. And you really have to rethink your whole life. What do you think?
Yes. Dude? Oh, totally. Totally. That's what happens. Some people would call that being humbled. Or, you know, having to put your pride down. And like, what kind of pride? Pride in humanity? No, just pride that you understand things. The pride that you have that is built into each one of us, that because we understand something. We understand, you know, when we eat, we're not as hungry anymore. Like things, like how much of that can you let go of and say, I got to relearn this. I was understanding something wrong. And like the flat earth thing, people get turned off by that, but it's not just about the shape of the ground that we're talking about. That is a part of the conversation because it's what we're talking about. But it includes the sky. In Revelation, John saw a new heaven and a new earth. Like he saw a new heaven and a new earth. And I could say that a lot of us have had that happen to us. We do see a different heaven and a different earth. And that's kind of what I was talking about, some of these scriptures pointing out, like, I never thought of it that way, but a new heaven and a new earth. Don't you guys see a new heaven and a new earth in these recent years? I mean, I abandoned what I was taught and relearned a different way just in the last 6 or 7 years,
Yeah, man.
But I think the
I don't
sky
know,
is I think we've been wrong about the nature of the sky and as well as the ground itself. And I think when it comes to the sky, I don't think that this is where my opinion might be a little different than some others, but when it comes to the sky, men will do, like, I think this is in our nature to push the boundaries. Like if you took one of those cars across the salt flats and you got 600 miles an hour, wouldn't you want to do it again and get 601 miles an hour? Do you know what I'm saying? Like we want to achieve more, and maybe that's just in our nature or whatever. But I think going up to the sky is the same thing. I think that, hey, Braxton, good to see Braxton. I think that it's in our nature to want to explore or whatever, and I feel like I'm NASA when I'm saying that, but so they found this way that they could, like, it took a lot of airplane flights at high altitude to figure out that you could put something into orbit. Like, it was Neil Armstrong was talking about like a test flight that he was doing, and he was talking about how when he was high enough that his instrument or his controls weren't responsive. And
you mean when like flying like a jet fighter, like a jet plane?
Yes.
Like a high altitude plane?
Yeah, flying at high altitudes, he started.
So what's
to
your
notice.
theory, dude? Let's get down to it. Your theory is when you get high enough that indeed you can, let's say, float, but it's not in the same way we conceive it as. Do you think that they hit maybe a different density layer, maybe like almost like a liquidy, water-like layer that enables them to float, just like one would float in water?
They think it's a vacuum. They think it's a vacuum, but it's another nature. It's another reality. Like going, and like in the Bible, I would say that inside of the firmament, that's where God put the sun, moon, and stars. You notice how the sun, moon, and stars, they just go around. They don't need fuel. They don't need anything to keep them in orbit or whatever. They just keep going. And so
let's picture water, like when water is in like a whirlpool, which is basically a vortex.
Yep.
Joe, I think a lot of the physics of this world is vortex physics. But before we go into it, so just think of it like a whirlpool, guys. Like how water just creates a whirlpool. Well, if we look at the heavens, Genesis says the water's above, guys.
Yep. He created a firmament in the midst of the waters.
Right. So let's think about it. If it's waters up there, if you think of a whirlpool, spinning vortex, and think of the heavens as something like that.
And think of them also.
I don't, right? Because guys, the idea of
a
vacuum of space, it's physically impossible. See, Joe, people they ask us, they think it's a belief system. Like DD214's here, Steve. He says he's keeping his mind open on both sides. It's really not two sides, Steve. That's a dichotomous way to look at it, but it's really not about that. It's about objective reality. It's about using the principles of logic, reasoning, and objectivity to try to divine or try to discover some concept of objective reality. When you apply these things, you find out very quickly that the idea of the vacuum of space is impossible, right? So it can't be
the idea of a vacuum at all. A vacuum at all is impossible. There is no such thing as a vacuum. It's only a concept.
Right.
No one's ever created a vacuum. Now there's a vacuum chamber where we can pull out everything that we can, but there is no vacuum, and even NASA would say that space isn't an actual vacuum. They say it's just a low pressure system. Like there's almost no pressure. And I'm like, okay,
Right.
I would say that to me it makes more sense to admit, that's a hard word to say, admit that I don't understand the nature of what they're calling a vacuum and what the Bible's calling waters, dark waters. These waters above, I think that they're not physical and material in a way that anything on earth is. I think it's an entirely different realm. And so, and with that, I don't think people can exist in that realm in a human body. I don't think that happens. I think that that's something, I think that's a deception. I think that's lies that entities are doing and telling. That's what I think. There's only been 600 astronauts, and I think that they're very sus. And
Right. So
again,
you've
that
said this
comes
before
from
here in the
Scripture.
show. Your theory is that astronauts are not human as such.
Yeah,
That
I don't
they're
think they are.
right. Well, look, dude, they seem to be almost
Weirdos.
always typically associated. Right, weirdos. They're almost always typically associated with these secret societies, calling them Masons
Yep.
or whatever. We see these astronauts; they're all seem to be Masons. What do we know about the Masons, et cetera, et cetera? That they seem to be associated with some type of elite status, elite bloodline, the elites. I was conjecturing earlier in the show, if these elites, if there's a different bloodline running through humanity. We always talk about this, we make fun of it. People talk about David Icke and the reptilians, but there's a lot of indications that there may be a serpent seed amongst humanity, a reptilian-like characteristic that runs amongst some of us.
Like
Is it
Satan's
possible?
children.
Go ahead.
Like Satan's children, you're saying. People that have a father of lies rather than a father of truth. Like, I think that divides
be
everyone
looked
up.
at. We could look at it through that lens. But so are you conjecturing that indeed that you see these astronauts or maybe these elites, these let's call them these serpentine-like humanoids that seem to be maybe controlling things? Some call them the draconians. We're getting really out there, guys, but this is probably more likely than not if you really went into truth, at least in my book. So do you see it as like it's almost like that these elites are making their way towards the heavens because in some way the fallen ones, the father of these, let's call them the Nephilim-like characteristics, or let's say these archons, you've conjectured before that they're imprisoned in the heavens, that they may indeed be the so-called planets or the wandering stars. We fucking named them after them. We named them after the so-called gods, Jupiter, Venus, Mars, all the way down, man. Okay, so if we named the so-called wandering stars after
7 of
these
them.
fallen gods, these 7 gods, look in the book of Enoch,
Enoch tells about a prison of 7 gods, or 7 wandering stars is what they are. They're transgressing.
Right, so can I be so bold to say that the theory would be that the fallen ones, the archons, were locked up in the heavens, in the abyss, for quote-unquote eternity, and they're using their progeny, their humanoid spawn on this earth, in an effort to do like a cosmic jailbreak, right?
Yes, exactly. That's like you worded that, a cosmic jailbreak. That's a perfect way to word it, because like even though there's an apocryphal book called The Vision of St. Paul, Paul the Apostle was taken up to the third heaven, and he wrote a book about it, and it wasn't found until he was long gone. But in that book, he said that the angel told him to look back. When they went up to the first heaven or whatever, the angel said, look back at the earth, or look back at the firmament. And he looked back at the firmament, and he said he saw in the same place oblivion that deceives and draws down to itself the hearts of men. And when I read that, I'm thinking, man, that sounds like what Enoch was saying about the planets. That they'll draw mankind, they'll lead them astray into sacrificing to demons as gods. And I'm just going, and Elon Musk is telling everybody that we're gonna go move to Mars. Like, that would be, in my understanding, Mars is not a place. Mars is a spiritual entity that's assuming that form specifically for men to look at it. Like for men to look up in the sky and see what they think is land. Because I don't think you could put a person with a boat and point out an island, and no one's ever been there before. And do you think they're not going to ever go there? It's the first place they're going to go. Like I always say about like a lion, if you cage a lion in a quarter of an acre, he's just going to sit and wander around the fence. But if you make it 5,000 acres, he doesn't barely know there's a fence. He don't even care about getting out. You know, like they're playing I don't know, with my words, I'm not the best, but they're playing with the natural desires of people. They're saying, if we make ourselves appear like places, they're going to have to come here. And so what do we find ourselves in? We find ourselves in a world where there's a $450 billion a year industry to go to these places. These places where there's nothing to offer, not even air or water or food or anything. Absolutely nothing that can benefit a person. All of the benefits and the things that we could get are all on the earth. All of them. Everything we need, every vitamin and every element that could be good for us, or anything that we could want, we have here. So it's kind of odd that they want to move to Mars or make a civilization. And I know this is pretty ridiculous stuff for these circles, but Mars, I don't think there's a rover, guys. I think, and okay, so that brings up the spaceships and like the Dragon capsule and the ISS and stuff like that. I think that all that metal and all the machinery parts and the rocket engines that produce all the thrust and the RCS thrusters that keep something in the right orbit, I think that's all real. But how has it become a thing? Because of these 600 astronauts. I think they're just devils working miracles and going forth to the kings of the earth and doing miracles and gathering them up to that battle of the great day of the Lord, Armageddon. So
you think all of the astronauts are in on it?
Anyone that's left the Earth, been into orbit. Now, there's like suborbital flights that like Virgin or Jeff Bezos is doing. I think that's
Right.
just like
To me, there's
you're
no
just being
orbit involved
catapulted.
there. They're just going really, really high if that's happening.
Yeah, the fastest they're going is like maybe like 2,500 miles an hour or something in those little things. But in order to go into orbit, you have to go like almost 10 times that fast.
Interesting.
So anything in orbit is, to me, good, that they're going into the firmament and they're borrowing the physics or whatever you want to call it. The same concept of why the moon doesn't fall out of the sky is the same concept of why a satellite wouldn't fall out of the sky.
Yeah, and don't forget, for anyone that has never actually looked into this stuff before, the military has done a lot of these operations in the past, like Operation Fishbowl, Operation High Jump, these kind of different things, and they know more than we do, but they have declassified some of it to the public. But I'll tell you this, if the military or the government ever, quote unquote, declassifies something, they're not telling you the entire story. There's no fucking way they will.
Probably not even close. I mean, why would they?
Let me ask you this, Joe. Because you don't classify yourself a Christian as such, but you seem to be very spiritual and scriptural in your understandings, right? So you seem to follow at least the doctrines, at least as you interpret them, right? So
I think so.
what would you recommend in these times that we're in, man? How would you recommend that one conducts their life? What should we? Because there's so much, dude. We live in a world where there's just information we're being bombarded with information constantly. Different doctrines, different ideals. It seems there's so much that's presented to us in an effort for control, domination, division. What would you recommend to anybody who maybe is looking for answers or just looking for ways to navigate these times, dude? What would you say?
Truth. Seek truth. Like, it's real simple what is truth? truth is what's not a lie. So if you analyze something in your life or just something you see in the world or whatever, if you're looking at it and you go, something that's not right, something ain't right with that, analyze it a little bit in your mind, just think about it and be like, and try to pinpoint what you don't like about something. Let's use the globe for example. The globe rotates. Like the globe in heliocentric model, it's rotating constantly, perpetually. That really goes against my observations. The world I live in is not rotating. It's actually at rest. So what would that mean? I could figure out what that means by continuing that thought process.
Right, dude. Hold on, Joe. That's one of the biggest things, dude, because we talk about the shape and flat. And I think many of us overlook the movement part of the conversation. Mm-hmm. It's flat and stationary. And to me, that's almost one of the biggest indications.
It is, yeah. To me,
look, when you live long enough on this earth and you start to be able to really think, if you're able to open your mind up to something and you really think about things, you realize that it's crazy to think that this earth is moving, dude. How water could exist so steady and placid. How I always use this example, it's dumb, is like, you know, you could have a shelf in your house or in a garage, and you could have things precariously stacked on a shelf, and they'll stay there for like a lifetime. You know, I can go in my grandmom's attic,
and stuff,
you know what I mean?
There.
And stuff that's been stacked there for like 80 fucking
like
years is still.
Pictures almost tipping over, but they've never fell.
Right.
They've just always
somebody told you
like
you're
that.
moving, and that it's just all relative in gravity, and because everything's relative, you don't feel it. That's not how it works, guys.
That's not science either. So
right, there's nothing.
A lot
that's
of the people,
just a stupid theory. It's impossible.
A lot of the people that want to claim that this subject isn't worth looking at, or that you know, flat Earth or all these different topics. If it's not worth looking at, then why is it so popular today? I'm saying, why is there millions of people who don't live on a globe anymore?
Right.
It's not because there's. Go ahead, Andrew.
Bob Nodell actually did a really great presentation on this like 2 or 3
Hold
years
on
ago.
a second, because Steve here, who I've had this conversation with, he gave us the same old trope. He says, same as being in the bed of a truck traveling at 50 miles an hour and jump. You still land in the same spot.
Yep. But is the ground a truck that's moving? No.
Right. It's called a false
part that's not.
equivalency. It's called. See, everyone said. Yep. So you're saying it's called a false equivalency, Steve. How does that equal an Earth rotating at 1,000 miles an hour at equator, as it's at the same time in an elliptical orbit at 66,000 miles an hour, and moving through the galaxy at 500,000 miles an hour, dude? You're way off.
They claim science.
It doesn't make sense, dude. Now make that truck go 100 miles an hour or 1,000 miles an hour, Steve, and jump up and do the same thing and see what happens. Steve, jump up and have that truck just move 1 degree off its linear its linear path, and see what happens, dude. You're using such a false equivalency. What you're employing, Steve, and I don't want to get mad at you, but we've had this conversation now 3 times. What you're employing is a classic defense mechanism, and using confirmation bias. You're creating an extreme false equivalency that stands up to no logic at all. And then you're trying to use that to justify your globe. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up, guys. We're going to wrap it up. Joe, it's great talking to you today, man.
Yeah, good to talk to you guys.
Drop your link in the chat on the way out.
I will do that. I will.
Yeah, do it right now so people don't miss it. Yeah, much love, Steve. Much love, Steve. But you're way behind on the subject, Steve. And I get it, Steve. You're a Marine, and I'm sure that involved a lot of courage. But I've said this to you before, Steve. Do you have the courage to challenge your paradigm? Do you have the courage to challenge the unconscious beliefs that you hold that create the lens through which you view this world? Because what would happen, Steve, if you did so? What would happen to you? Would your world shatter? It might. What would happen to your marriage? If you opened your mind up to the realities of this world, and you had to embrace the objective fact that we do not live on a globe, and you became a flat earther, what would happen to you, dude? I don't know. These are the questions. My point I'm trying to make is, Steve, is it really, are you really endeavoring to look at truth Like I asked Joe what his recommendation was. He said truth. Truth at all costs. Would you be willing to sacrifice your marriage to truth, Joe? I mean, Steve, because that's the type of shit that happens. I'm not saying your wife would necessarily leave you, but would you be willing to do that? Would you be willing to sacrifice your fragile sense of identity and ego that you're holding on to? Because as you grasp and you desperately clutch for some sense of control in this world, is it okay to not have control, Steve? Is it okay to not know every little thing? Or do you want to keep believing in a fucking fantasy because it's comfortable for you and you can sleep at night like a little baby blanket? Anyway, I just went off there, Joe. Much love, Joe. I'm glad you came today, man. Any final
thank
thoughts
you.
for the
good seeing you and Andrew too. Good seeing you again, Andrew.
Yes, awesome.
I've seen you a few times now. I always like your what am I trying to like? The information that you bring is from a generally a different point of view than I'm naturally coming from. So I like to see or like to hear what you say about, because you're a very level-headed, logical person, I can tell. So always fun to talk to you.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. And that's what I try and do all the time, is be just middle of the road, middle ground on any subject until I can prove one way or the other that I was right or wrong on it. And I think that's what a lot of people get confused with nowadays, is that they are told something and then they just run with it real fast. Mm-hmm. And I think in the last 3 years, without saying anything specific, that if you see something on TV, people just believe it automatically because it was on TV without doing any research on their own.
Yep. And it's dangerous.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Much love. Much love to both of you guys.
Much love,
Thanks
you
for
guys.
being here, Andrew. Thanks for being here, Joe.
Have a good one.
Get me in a room with Whitsett or Jaron. Get me in a room with one of those guys. Come on, Joe. Work on it. I love you, man. Peace out.
Have a good one.
Peace out. Just a note to my audience. I just unmodded Brian O'Shea. I don't know what he was doing down there. I saw a little kerfuffle. Maybe I missed it, but thanks, Feather Bear. Appreciate you being here. I just unmodded O'Shea. I still like you, O'Shea, but not as a moderator on my channel. We'll see where it goes. Like, I didn't mind you dropping your link to your channel, O'Shea. I don't mind you promoting yourself, but I just felt some, like, instinctual discomfort with having you as my moderator. Thanks, Braxton. I appreciate the love. Appreciate the love. Uncle Rick, was that a what do you think that he said, I'm the only non-mod here? You were a mod, O'Shea. You just lost it. We'll see, O'Shea. Don't be crushed. I don't know why. My instinct told me to yank it. Was I wrong for yanking O'Shea's moderator status? Thundersick Chicken says you're not trustworthy. He appears to agree with me. I don't know. We'll see. All right, everybody. Great show as always. Yeah, he said I wouldn't leave O'Shea alone with a dog and peanut butter. Much love, Goblin King. Do your thing. All right, everybody. We'll see you here tomorrow. Same time, same place. I love you, O'Shea. Don't be butthurt I took your moderator status out. You're still the only moderator on Paul's channel, so it's got to count for it's got to count for a lot there. All right, y'all. Peace out. Let's get out of here. It's enough. It's enough for today. It's too much, even. Adios, everybody.